This happens, we take our health, wealth, lives and just hand them off, thinking that we did this from organic thoughts. I know you seen parents trick kids with candy toys and Santa Claus. The same method is used to trap adults, but instead of candy it's with money, religion, drugs and alcohol. Mention that shit and this go arouse us all. I done seen niggas get into fights over cigarettes like a pack of dogs. They get you hooked and then they laugh at y'all. I really hate to break it to you, but your life's being played. You have not witnessed the world cause you stuck in the matrix. Everything we have been taught was all a lie. Open your eyes, open your mind, and fly. Man, can't you see we're robots who know not what we do when we got no shot in the real world until we climb out of this ice cold box? Your whole life has been part of a whole plot to keep you at the bottom while they on top. Stay quiet, then they won't stop. They always trying to show us what we don't got. They do it to all of us till we finally break and go cop or go watch. They know we need the cash for rent. My ass is sick just thinking about how rich and powerful all these bastards get. They package ideas like it's oxygen. They make us feel like if we ain't got it, we fucked and we cannot fit in. This fucking system is not your friend. And understand they're controlling your thoughts cause they got a lot to win. Niggas get turned away when I mention this. Ignorance is bliss, but I don't give a fuck. I don't censor shit. The matrix is real when you done entered it. It's way too intricate for you to ever realize that you fucking simpleton. I really hate to break it to you, but you must be in.
Speak up.
Robert.
Hi, Robert. Hi, Destiny. Hi, Rasan. Kasan. Oh, you guys brother and sister?
It's Kaison.
Kaison.
Yeah.
You guys brother and sister. Oh, you guys are brother and sister. Passionate.
I done seen niggas get in the fights over cigarettes like a pack of dogs.
Orion.
They get you hooked and then they laugh at y'all.
Jamari. Nice to meet you guys. Okay. I'm going to need you guys to speak up really loudly, okay? I'm going to tell you a story and just answer the questions naturally, okay? Just on how you honestly think.
Everything we have been taught was all a lie.
Pretend like I'm talking about your family, okay? 5 grandfathers ago, you have your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather worked his whole life, and he saved up a lot of money, and he opened up a business. And right before he died, let me tell the story. Right before he died, he wanted to leave everything to his son, but some person came and stole everything, stole all his money and the deeds to his business. Okay, so then that person who stole everything, that person had a son, and he gave all the stuff that your grandfather had to his son. So your 4th great-grandfather, your great-great-great-great-grandfather had went and built up everything again, saved up a lot of money, and tried to open up a business. He saw the son of the other guy who stole from his dad, and he said, "Hey, that's all my stuff. I want it back." And the guy was like, "No, I didn't take it from you. I don't have to give it back." So then he built up everything he could, just like his dad did, right? And then his son, the guy who had taken everything from his dad, who gave it to his son, he goes and steals everything from him again. So not only has he stolen everything from him again, but he also went and built stuff off it, like he went and got more money and made him open up businesses with the money stolen that was supposed to be his in the first place. So then now your 3rd great-grandfather, your great-great-great-grandfather decided to start from scratch. He built everything again, got all this money, tried to open up a business, and then the other guy's great-great-grandfather went and stole everything again. And when your great-great-great-grandfather said, "Hey, I want my stuff back," the other guy said, "No, I'm not going to give it to you." So then now your great-grandfather, you guys still know your great-grandfather? Your great-grandfather, is he still alive? No. Some yes, some no. Well, I have a great-grandmother who's still alive as well. Okay, I can see you. So basically, your great-great-great-grandfather did the same thing again. Built up all this money from scratch, tried to build a business, and then the other guy's great-great-great-grandfather went and stole everything again. And then when your great-great-grandfather said, "Hey, I would like my stuff back, you know, everything that you have was taken from my father, and his father," the other people said, "No, I'm not going to give it back to you. I didn't take it from you." So now your grandfather, your great-grandfather did the exact same thing that all his other fathers did before him. And then it happened again. And then the father of now your grandfather, you guys still know your grandfather? You got a lot of grandfathers still around? That's good. That's good. Your grandfather is like, okay, I'm going to build everything up, but I don't want to get it taken. So your grandfather goes and he opens a credit union, which is like a place that's like he opens his own mini bank. And so his whole family can put the money in the bank so that they don't have to worry about these people coming to steal the money, right? He tries to go and buy businesses, but the people that had stolen everything before owns all the property and won't sell them the property to open up a business. So now your great grandfather can't open up a business, but he has a credit union. Now this other family, the person who's the same age as your grandfather, he goes to the government and says, hey, I want to buy this business from underneath the grandfather. So the government says, okay, we'll take your money. And now the credit union full of all of your grandfather's money is gone. Full of all of your family's money is gone because the people who own it now are the same people who've been robbing you. And then you can't open up a business because they own all the property and won't let you buy the property with the money that you earned that they're just going to steal from you again. So now, picture you guys are all, it's your turn now. Your grandfather or your dad, all of your dads wants to pass down all of their money to you, all of their businesses. They want to give it to you, but they're afraid that this same family is going to come and steal it from you again. So do you guys want to accept the responsibility of getting this money and this businesses from your father?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do? You want those benefits, right? When you guys, say you guys know the kids, say you guys know all the other kids from the family that's been stealing from you. If you guys got everything stolen from you again and you saw those kids and everything that's supposed to be yours, would you want to go and get your stuff back?
Yeah.
You want everything, right? You want everything that they took from your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather all the way to what they're trying to take from you, right? Yeah? What'd you say? You don't. You said you don't play. That's right. Somebody take your stuff, you gonna get them, right? I ain't even mad. Homie. So check this out. I'm gonna ask you guys a couple of questions, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what this story is really about. Okay? Hold on 1 second.
Wait, did you videotape me eating watermelon?
I videotaped everything. Okay, girl, first off, watermelon is bomb. It's my second favorite fruit. You don't got to front about eating it, okay? Okay, I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Do you think the second family is wrong from stealing from you?
Yeah.
Do you think they should pay back everything they stole?
Yes.
Would you give up fighting for what's yours?
No.
Even though they keep taking it every time you fight for it? If you had the opportunity to take it back outside of the law or by other unconventional means, would you do it?
Yeah.
You wouldn't?
Why?
These people have illegally yeah, but you know, slavery was legal, right? Segregation was legal. The law doesn't always mean what's right. Okay, next question. If you were members of that other family, would you give everything back?
Yeah.
Even though everything that you own is stolen, you still give it back? Even though you wouldn't have, would you give it back? You wouldn't?
If you're members of the other family, that's got all of our things, you would not give it back?
But
I'll give it back.
if you give it back? That sounds nice, but would you give everything back even if it meant that you would have nothing?
Yeah. Because it's not ours, technically.
Well, it's not technically, it's just definitely not.
No, I'll do the same thing. I'll do the same thing.
You do the same thing?
Yep,
Well, no, the other family didn't take anything from you, but if you were in the other family, would you give everything back to the family that you stole from?
Yes.
Yeah? Even though your parents stole it and all you're doing is inheriting it, you would still give it back?
No, if my parents stole it, my parents... If mom and dad stole it, would you still give it back to them because it's not ours? It was the other family? I would give it to them. Yes.
I want you to answer honestly. He can say no if he doesn't think so. Okay, do you think the fact that even though they stole all of your businesses and they stole your banks, do you think that you should let it go because they let you pay rent to them or they let you bank with them?
No.
You don't think that's enough? No. Is that enough for you? Okay, what about, say one of your cousins wanted to date someone else in the other family. Would that cousin still be welcome in the family, even though they want to date someone else in the family that's been stealing from you?
Because they can convince them to give everything back.
Okay, but what if they get married and then the person that they marry just takes everything from the cousin?
Oh.
And then now they have legal rights to everything that is in the family because they married your cousin. Would you?
Well, they don't really have legal rights.
Well, they do. When you get married, you have everything that your partner has rights to. You have rights to. If I were to marry a millionaire right now, and now that we're married, anything that is his is mine. That's how marriage works.
I know.
So if your cousin goes and marries this person, they can, do something.
The cousin has the exact same thing the guy has.
Yeah,
so
but
if they get it, well, she can take it off.
that's a possibility. But there's also the possibility of they can get divorced and he can take it all, or he can marry her. Well, he can take what else, just like how your grandfather rebuilt stuff. He can take whatever she decides to build.
It can go both ways, so yes and no.
So would you want to take that chance though?
Maybe, because it's a 50-50 chance.
50-50 is not good enough for me. I'm tired of getting robbed. I don't got time for a 50-50 chance. Alrighty, well, I want to tell you guys what I'm really talking about. That story was called a metaphor. Anybody know what a metaphor is? Can someone tell me what a metaphor is? Anybody?
Words that are like what I'm using my grass.
Do you know what an analogy is?
No.
An analogy, do you know what an analogy is? It's okay. An analogy is when you're telling a story that means something else. So, in this analogy, that I was talking to you guys about your family, but it was an analogy for reparations. Does anybody know what reparations is? Reparations? No? Well, after slavery, the government had promised to give African people that they enslaved their money and land because they had exploited our labor forces for hundreds and hundreds of years. But ever since we have been let go of chattel slavery, they've never given us our money and they've never given us our land. So we're still owed reparations. You see what I'm saying?
So wait, Barack Obama's president now. He can just do all that, right?
No. Well, first off, Barack Obama is mixed. Just like that cousin that went and married someone from the other family, now they're sitting there, they have a torn allegiance, which means that they've become neutral to the situation because of their interest in the other side. So Barack Obama is half black and half white. If he wants to do everything to appease black people, there's going to be a lot of angry white people. And okay, but he's also half white and he cares about white people because he's half white, right? His mama is white.
Is he really?
Yes, Barack Obama is mixed. His mom is white, his dad is black.
But his kids and his wife is mostly black, right?
His kids and his wife are black, but he's not. He's torn.
Oh.
You see? So him personally, it's like, dang, I want to help this guy, but I don't want to hurt this side, so I have to say nothing.
But also, his family should matter. Like his kids and his wife should matter more. So I think if they say that they want to help the black people, then he should help the black people.
Okay, but he also has to answer to nothing but white people in the White House. The president doesn't get to do whatever he wants. I know they teach you that in school, but he doesn't. He has people to answer to. He basically is just the face. He just gets to tell you what other people decided. That's how being a president works. So basically, with reparations, us as African people in America, we are owed by European people in America. This other family that I was telling you guys about it's the white family. And that white family has been stealing from us for hundreds and hundreds of years. So do you guys still want to take back what's yours?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you still feel like everything was stolen from you?
Yeah.
So do you feel like even though the kids today, all these other white kids around here, even though they didn't take anything directly from you, everything that they have is based off of what's been stolen from you? All right, we're rolling. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, my name is Steve.
Can you speak up a little more, Steve?
Hi, my name is Steve.
Hey, and my name is Carnell King, originally from Los Angeles, California.
Hey, representing in the house. Hey. Okay. So now it's up to you. It's your turn. And you're supposed to inherit a legacy and build a legacy. This is where I'm going to ask my list of questions. The first question is, do you think that the family that has been getting you guys this whole time, do you think they're wrong for stealing from you?
Okay, first of all, I want to back up. I listened to your analogy. And
You might have to speak
I
up.
would assume that, in my humble opinion, just straight up, this group of this analogy you broke down, they sound weak to me. They keep constantly
All they can do is steal.
No. The people who are getting robbed are weak. They're weak. You trying to tell me that every time I pass something down, this invisible man takes my stuff?
Not invisible. It's another very real family.
Look here. That's a whack analogy. I'm gonna be real with you. It sounds like victimhood. You understand me? That's what it sounds like to me. That's not America, first of all, because I know your analogy that you tried to break down is how the white man treats the black man in America and where they are today. As far as this goes, there's two situations happening here. You understand me? The first situation, where the black man is, the individual black person is self-induced. Okay. Now, yes, we have slavery, blah, 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 but this is 2016. Blacks are killing blacks. There's no, hold on. If there's a man that takes his money, your great-grandfather's grandfather, blah, 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 it's because they're ducks and they're whack. The world we live in today, you understand me? All that is just rebel without a cause, in my humble opinion.
So my question is this: when it comes down to that, we already know that there is no real. I mean, because it's not like this family hasn't tried to take their stuff back. You know, this family has tried.
Family?
It's your family. I would like to.
You talking about my family as a hold on. You talking about my family as a black person, right?
Yeah, but please, can I finish it? Of course, you tried you tried legal means to get your stuff back. You know, you tried revolutionary means to get your. You try revolutionary means to get your stuff back. The law is not on your side, so if you try to take your stuff back outside the law,
vigilante justice team. Okay?
Nah, that's corny.
We gonna get crazy
that's
with it.
Corny,
Gonna get
man.
it for ourselves.
That's called revolution. That's called revolution.
I know what you would do.
That's called revolution.
No, hold on. You need to be educated, young girl. Let me tell you something, young lady. You talking about, oh, that's revolution. You know, we're gonna take it back. What are you talking about, man?
Taking back
what
what
hold on. For taking it back what? Taking
I
what
have this
back?
up because it's raining and I don't want to get the camera wet.
Taking what back? Do you feel like you're somehow you don't have what everybody else has?
I know for a fact that I don't have, and I don't have the means.
Why do you feel that way?
It's not a feeling; it's factual.
But why is it factual? You go to what? The University of
Washington. Day and time and era, though, right?
It is.
No, she's saying this today.
It's very much so.
Let me tell you something.
I mean, the fact
no, it's not. No,
I'll
it's
give
not.
you a perfect
no, it's
I'll give you a current legal
example.
The justice system is not in our favor. The fact of the matter is because the people who created it made it that way.
But hold on. Why? Because we go out and shoot each other 10 times
But that was created though. We were created in hostile environments and conditions by the same people that have been rocking with us.
No, I'm listening to it. You know what? That's a dropout weakness. You are a dropout. Why are you saying that? Let me tell you something about real oppression. I came into the Navy in 1984. And when I came into the Navy, you understand me? In 1974, they just got a civil rights bill. They did not have minorities in there at all. And I chose to become an electrician. You know when we came in the military. And you know what? In 1980, when Reagan came into office, he started recruiting minorities. And me and my friends came in. I came in 81. Me and my friends came in. I was an aircraft electrician. And when I came to my shop, I was the only brother there. Let me tell you something. There was this cat there. His name, he was a first class petty officer. And we called, this is 1983 now. And, no, 1982. And we called him Willie Nelson because he looked like Willie Nelson. And I'm sitting there, I hadn't been to A school. A school is a trade school that you go to learn a trade. But my division officer, a white man, felt that my intelligence was so high that he put me in this group that I haven't even been trained yet. All right, so now I'm sitting in front of this guy. And he's like, look here, boy. Oh, you been to A school? I'm like, nah, sir, I haven't been to A school. That's what we call trade schools there. And I said, no, I haven't been to A school. He said, so your lieutenant commander sent you down here? I said, yeah, he think I can learn a lot because I'm getting ready to go to A school. Long story short, so he opens up his briefcase and he starts to it right in front of my face. I'm from where the distance from you and me. And he starts putting together an assault rifle right in front of my face. And he's clicking in, he's calling me boy and telling me, you know, basically I'm a monkey and climb through a tree. That's what I perceive. I'm 19 years old. He laid 3 boxes, they're called modules. We call them LRUs. They're line replaceable units for the airplane. He lays them down. I never even seen one before. But what he didn't know about me, when I was young, I used to make stuff. I connected my telephone to the stereo in 1972. I was 8 years old, but moving back to the story. So he leaves, he says, fix these boxes if you want to be here. He actually told me to fix one, but there was 3. So this other white cat showed me how to use the tester. I said, I got it. So I went through, I fixed the boxes. It was elementary. So he comes back in, and I played dumb. He's like, you still working on that box? And I'm like, oh no, I fixed these 2 boxes too. He said, who told you to fix them? Oh, you did. He said, and he took me and we tested them, and they worked. So and my point of that story is that instead of me thinking, you understand me, I'm being oppressed, or I thought to myself, I'm gonna prove this cat wrong.
Why do you feel like you have something to prove to these people?
It has nothing to do with why I have something to prove. It's the fact that I have something to prove to myself. It's the fact that that's society. It's not America. It's about me. It was about me, and it was about me how I felt the pride in myself and the challenge in myself. I never even seen these boxes before.
So would you rather build boxes for your own thing, this, that, and the third? Would you rather build them for someone else to prove a point that you can do it?
People do that all the time. My point is, you talking about racism and oppression, and this time, you didn't have no salt, you don't sit down at a job and have somebody put an assault rifle together in your face.
No, but I do sit down at a job, that's the thing. I may not be an assault rifle. I wasn't in the military, so I'm not in that position, but the job that
The thing about it is, you acting like you are oppressed. Me and my friends, we dealt with all kinds of stuff, and the thing with us, you know, Obama says the audacity of hope. The way we look at it, we had the and we give it to you. I'm lost.
We got raised. We got raised by you guys.
I'm disappointed, to be quite honest.
Well, we got raised by somebody.
I'm disappointed that you feel that you don't have opportunity.
Well, that's the thing. Though. How about I have numbers for you. The fact of the matter is, an African man can graduate from university.
You in university. I had to go to the military to get.
Can I please? A black man with a degree is still 3 times less likely to get hired than a white man with a high school diploma. That is a lack of opportunity. That's facts,
you know
though.
What? Let me tell you
That's
something.
facts.
No, it's not, because I work at a corporation right now, and I work for Boeing. I've been at Boeing for 27 years. You understand me? And that's enough of that. But I know for a fact that you have opportunity. I work with people like you every day of the week. You understand me? And what you are telling me, and this whole analogy that you're bringing up about poor you, poor me, oh my.
I never got to finish asking my questions. Because the analogy is about reparations and whether or not we should continue to fight for reparations.
The analogy is about reparations?
And whether or not we should continue to fight for reparations.
Okay. I believe we should be getting some reparations. The Indians got it, man.
I mean, everybody has received reparations except for African people. Even people that Europeans, white Americans did not do anything to. They gave Germans reparations. They gave Australians reparations. The Japanese got reparations. The indigenous people, everybody except for us. That's what this was about. This whole thing was about reparations.
But you came with this whole family.
Analogy.
It sound like cop. Let me tell you something. That sounds like a cop out. Let me tell you something. I gotta
finish the analogy.
Yeah,
but you
set it up.
But the way that's the thing. Though. Don't think that family's just sitting there getting robbed. Like they're trying different means. But when the law is not on your side, you can try all you want to and still fail.
That's all blah 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 to me.
Oh yeah, listen to know that from all the police.
Not even, and that's the thing though. Even the origins of the police was slave patrol. Their job is to recapture and re-enslave African
Reparations
people.
is totally different from what you're talking about. Like you can't get a job and all this. Let me tell you this. I got a great uncle. His name is Ordell, and he grew up in Marshall, Texas. When he died, he grew up in Marshall, Texas. He was born in 1880, and he died like 1936. And when he died in Marshall, Texas, this is who I aspire to. He died, he had $10,000, 160 acres, 3 cows, and a tractor.
I still believe it's favoritism though in corporate America though.
it is, dog.
And that's the thing. The only thing is, it thrives off the exception. You find one or two exceptional black people to prove that this imaginary idea that because of an exception that you've allowed in there, there's not really a problem.
No, it's not. That's interesting. You said exception. I like that. That's another cop-out statement.
It's a token.
It's a token. That's like that. So people who succeed are tokens.
And in this system, where it's not messing for us, Jalen.
Jalen, I want to tell you this. You know what, Jalen? I want you to remember this. I want you to record everything I said. You remember, because you're in the university. What university you go to?
Washington State.
She goes to the same university my daughter is.
You go to Washington State. Hold on. Washington State, and I know you plan to be successful. And remember what you told us. There's exceptions. You're going to be a token. So you plan to be a token.
I've been a token my whole life.
That sounds corny.
It is corny. But my thing is, I realize that I don't have to be.
You need to get off of that, man. You in university, you can do anything you want. You know what I tell my kids?
Yeah, but I can't do as much as that European with a degree
whatever,
either.
Man. That sounds corny.
I know. I mean,
that sounds corny. Let me tell you something. You know what I tell
well,
my
I would really
kids,
like your opinion as well.
I know you like his opinion because he's gonna.
I need a versatility in an opinion.
Let me tell you something. You know what I tell my kids? You know what I tell my kids? Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish, Carnell. Then you can take over. You know what I tell my kids? Somebody should have told you this. When you come out of adversity. When you get to adversity, whatever it is, racism, ism, whatever it is, you either run through it, over it, under it, or around it. But I don't want to hear you make no excuse about the invisible man who is keeping you down.
It's not invisible. Oh, did he just put his... Was it necessary for him to put his hand in my face? That was very disrespectful.
No. Situations like this, he gets very intense in situations like that.
Yeah, I can tell.
Like that. But you know, I don't believe it. Like corporate America, man, I don't know. Fuck corporate America. It's a lot of bullshit. I was treated like shit. I had a position, and they didn't show no fairness to me when I was trying to do my thing.
And that's the thing. The fact that black people, especially the dark, you have to work harder and smarter.
The same. I was working for the state, but the same situation that happened to me, happened to a white boy. He was able to keep his job.
Do you think that he has some bias because of who his life partner is?
What's that?
Do you think that he may have some bias because of who his life partner is?
Nah, that's just Steve. He's solid in his opinion and everything that he's saying. That's just him. That's Stone.
It's a universal knowledge where if you darker, work harder. So the idea that the fact of the matter that he has to do 3 boxes instead of just one to get a level of decent integrity, let alone respect from his manager, says a lot alone.
And he does feel that he has to work harder.
And so you can't
harder
say
than that white boy to get this position that he wanted going right now.
Especially the white boys who are born into positions.
He told me that today.
And I
say, man, why you working all these hours? You working your weekends, you're taking your family time. You worked today before you came to the 4th of July party. Fuck that. Why we gotta work that extra hard to get where they have to do minimal work to get the same spot in the same place? It makes sense, like, man.
I mean, even still,
life,
like,
man.
As far as the environmental conditions of us being put into opportunities where all we can do, we have all this rightful anger, but we're forced, like, even we know Watts is surrounded by freeways. When the Watts riots happened, they shut down the freeway, so you could not get out to go properly distribute the anger that you were given. Now we have a lot of misplaced, we have rightful anger misplaced and misguided by the same people who are telling us that we don't have any problems. Yeah, and so it's like, it's just a contradictory statement. You can't say that.
I understand that, but there does come a time you got to move on. You can't continue to live in the past.
Well, that's the past is presently affecting the present. The fact of the matter is we do have African people, hundreds of thousands of them.
Opportunities. You can't overcome some things.
Yeah, within the system.
I know some successful black people that have overcome some things.
Yeah, some. And again, with exceptions, that's how when the system's designed for you to fail.
When we start getting more black people in positions that can hire more black people in these high-tech positions, then
would you rather us have our own? Because Malcolm X said it best. He said during the civil rights movement, we were fighting for a seat at master's table. Real power, real equality, and real justice is having your own table with your own food on it. So my thing is, my goal is to get African people to stop trying to excel in non-African spaces and to create our own spaces, create our own businesses, our own economics, our own school systems, and our own tables, basically. Create our own tables with our own food on it. And that way, we don't have to worry about begging for a seat of someone else's.
I understand that.
I really wish you would have let me have gotten there. And I know we are. But I think that there's still a lot more people who haven't jumped on the train yet. And I mean, that's why I'm an educator. And even though I'm going to school I know that all they're teaching me literally how to do is to continue to colonize my people. When you send your children to an education system that's meant to keep them slaves, then that's all we're going to keep reproducing. We spend most of our time at school. Our parents went through the same school system, so everything that they know is taught down, passed down. So the conditions that we're in today is by design. It's not necessarily, yes, everyone has their own will, but if all you know is one thing, then it's going to be awfully hard to blame. I don't want to say like a baby.
So what about then? I don't know. I guess that's the question that I can pose to you. What do you feel? Do you feel that you can be successful? And you feel that you can
I know that I will be successful, but my determination of what success is not according to the system standards. My idea of what success is pertinent to what is successful for my people and the best in relations to the African people in this country and across the diaspora, which has nothing to do with getting a job in corporate America or making millions of dollars and whatnot. It has to do with creating something tangible. It has to do with owning land and having resources so if they shut down grocery stores, we don't starve.
Hey,
you know?
I believe we should get our reparations.
I believe by any means necessary.
Any means necessary. Like I was saying, you look at my family, I'm coming to get you. I believe in vigilante. I mean, if it's something close to my heart, and I feel that you took something from me that you shouldn't have taken from me, fuck that shit, man.
See, my only thing is, because I see all African people as my family, and when it comes to things like this, taking back what was stolen from me, we have to understand that the law protects the thieves. So that we have to, a lot of people are like, oh, it's against the law if I take back what's mine. But the law is designed to keep us oppressed. So either, Malcolm X said this, he said, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I'd rather die fighting for what's mine than live in a slave-like existence. And I think the problem with the generational gap is it's the same exact thing with the new face, but because it's got a new face, older generations can't recognize it, and they demean the struggle of what's going on today.
So what are you going to propose to do to touch people to make things better for the African American community?
Well, I'm going to open up a school over the next several years. The whole curriculum is designed by and for African people, completely separate from the system. But also in the meantime, while I'm still doing this, the part of the reason why I'm doing this documentary is to cause African people and European people to think. You know, and so long as the people at least start thinking, they can start making better decisions and becoming more aware of things of what's going on around them. So this is basically to get people to start thinking. When I interview Europeans, and they do really want to make a difference, and if they really do want to be not passively racist, they really want to be better than their more flamboyantly racist counterparts, then there is a place that they can go to pay reparations to an African movement that is actually doing something. And to African people who want to build and connect and start trying to figure out ways to take back what's ours, self-defense training, knowledge of self-education, the list goes on, then I'm here to provide those connections as well. So
that's cool. That's cool.
There are solutions
and I appreciate what you're doing. I mean,
there are solutions to the problem.
African American sisters like you doing this stuff, or feeling the way you feel. You know what I mean? Maybe we can get stuff, the movement going.
And I do want to assure you there are movements going on, but the thing is, they're not mainstream. For a reason, because every time we went mainstream with something, the people who control the mainstream has been able to manipulate, influence, and control, and then dismantle what we were doing. Look at the Black Panther Party. The more popular they got, the more they were susceptible to infiltration. There are hundreds and thousands of underground movements going on in different states all across the U.S. and the African diaspora, the Caribbean, Central America, etc., going toward the advancement and progress of African people. So just because we don't see it out here wearing flags that are literally the symbol of our oppression doesn't mean that we're not out here actually putting in the work. You see what I'm saying? But I do appreciate your time.
I enjoy your presentation, talking to intelligent, intellectual Black sisters like you, or people like you, period. I appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Bye. Has to be quick because I'm standing in the rain.
All right. Do you want to share your name?
Tom.
All right. I'm going to need you to speak up, Mr. Tom.
Okay.
Basically, the analogy goes like this. Your great-grandfather spent his whole life building something. His whole life building it, and just before he passed it down to your grandfather, someone else from another family came and stole everything. Stole the deeds to the land he had just bought and stole all the money and everything. So your great-grandfather went up to, of course he passed it down to his kids. So your great-grandfather goes up to him and is like, hey, you know, can I have that, you know, that stuff was stolen from my dad. That was supposed to be mine. Can I have it back? And the guy's like, I don't think I'm going to give it back. I'm pretty sure I didn't take it from you. I don't have to give it back to you, right? So then your grandfather goes and he builds up everything all over again. Spends his whole life working hard to the bone, over hours at work, all that kind of stuff, just to make sure he had something to pass down to you. And just before he did it, everything was undercut and stolen again. And so you've tried going to the courts, you know, you tried taking the legal route, you tried, you know, taking your stuff back, and you just ended up in jail overnight or things like that, you know. But the point of the matter is you tried getting your stuff back and this man refuses to give it to you because he didn't take it from you, even though he knows that his dad took it from you and his dad took it from you as well. So he goes and he builds this big old corporation that makes millions of dollars. He opens up all these businesses based off of the fortune that was left for you for 2 generations. So this is where I asked you a couple of questions based off of the analogy. It's right there. The first one is, do you think that the second family is wrong from stealing from you?
Yes.
I gotta keep the rain off of it. Do you think that they should pay back everything that they stole from you?
Yes.
Would you give up fighting for what is yours?
No.
If you had the opportunity to take it back outside of the law, would you?
No.
Why not?
Because that would be wrong. You want to go with the law.
Okay.
Yes.
Well.
I don't want to be a vigilante.
Oh, you don't want to be a vigilante. Okay.
Yes.
If you were members of that other family, would you return everything?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's 3 more questions that go along with this. Basically, the big reveal for the analogy was it's about African people and reparations in America. Has your opinion changed because you, as a European in America, is the family that's been stealing for generations?
No. What was that again?
The analogy was for African people and reparations in America.
Okay,
so you and your family have been African people in America since we arrived here.
Yes.
So when it comes to that, now that you are on the other shoe and you're in the other family, do you still think that you should give back everything that's been stolen?
Maybe, yeah.
If you were given the opportunity to return what was stolen to African people, would you?
Sure.
Well, basically, there is this thing called the Uhuru Solidarity Movement. It's Europeans who are working in solidarity with the Uhuru movement in Florida. And basically, they give you the opportunity as a European American to give reparations and to join a group that helps get more Europeans to pay back reparations.
Really? Okay.
Would you be interested in that information?
No, not today, but I think it's a good cause, sure. Sure.
So do you feel content with the fact that your existence is based off of the oppression of another's?
No, I think it's wrong.
But you don't want to do anything to fix it?
Not at this moment, no.
I understand. I mean, if you're comfortable in this place, why would you, have to start from scratch, give up everything?
I understand exactly what you're saying, and I don't agree with it, sure, but it's been done, and sure. I understand.
But you said that you would not stop fighting for your legacy if you were in my shoes.
Well, now that you put it this way, sure.
That's understandable. And thank you
Sure,
you for being honest.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, you made a point. Sure. I mean, yeah.
I bring this up because this whole thing was actually inspired by one of my coworkers. And I was having a casual, regular conversation, not about anything of the nature. And he made a comment. He said, I would rather not live past the mountains. I said, that's interesting. Why not? He said, because there's a lot of racists and bigots and homophobia out there. So I was like, a lot of Europeans do think because they're not vocally racist or because they're not flamboyant about their opinions that they're inherently better than the bigots who are vocal about it. When really you have people being loud and doing the dirty work while you still reap the benefits. So
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. Sure.
Well, that was basically all of my questions, and I do appreciate your candor and taking the opportunity to do this documentary.
Thank you.
And that's about it. I'm going to sign out now.
Okay.
The man who took everything from your great-great-grandfather passes it down to his son. And that son goes and builds off of what was stolen from your great-great-grandfather. And then on top of that, your great-grandfather goes and works his whole life, does the same thing again, and he goes and robs him. Your great-grandfather's like, hey, man, you know, I want you to give me my stuff back. Everything that you have is supposed to be mine. Dude's like, you know what? I didn't take the stuff from you. My dad did, so I don't think I'm going to hand it to you. But then he's like, well, what about the stuff you did take from me? I don't think I want to give that to you either. So dude's like, okay, so you're not going to give me my stuff? Okay, I feel you. So he goes and takes matters into his own hands, and he tries to go sue the man for everything that was stolen. The government's like, well, you know what? You snooze, you lose. You shouldn't have got robbed. So then he's like, okay, so the government's not going to help me. That's a problem. I'm going to go take my stuff myself. He goes and he tries to rob his stuff back. Is it really robbing if it's your stuff and you're trying to get it back?
Ain't that OJ? That's what I was saying. OJ stole his stuff back?
I mean, I guess I didn't know that aspect of the OJ story. But basically, he goes and your great-grandfather goes to try to steal his stuff back, and he ends up going to jail. So he comes out of jail, starts over again, tries to pass something down to your grandfather. Your grandfather's like, okay, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to open up a credit union so that my whole family can put our money in there and it'll be well managed. It's hard to steal from a credit union. Well, the other dude's son, they're third generation down. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go to Wall Street and undercut this bank so really every piece of money they make goes to me. And so your grandfather, when he dies, he tries to pass his credit union down to your father, but it turns out he can't because it had already been stolen underneath his nose the whole time. Your whole family's been investing money into this the whole time. And, you know, your cousins, all that, that's everybody's bank. And now it turns out you guys really don't have any of the money being made from it. So now your father is like, okay, this is a problem. I don't want to build something because I don't want it to get stolen. We tried the law. That doesn't help us. We tried outside the law. That also doesn't help us. But at the same time, I want my daughter to have something so that she doesn't have to start from scratch like I did, like my father did, like my great-grandfather did. So now it's up to you. Would you, and mind you, you know this family. You see them all the time. You see them walking down the street. They live around the corner from you. They own all the stores you go to because they done bought all the stuff after they had stolen it from you guys, you know. All this stuff has happened, and you see this family on a regular basis. Are you upset with this family? I don't think we can hear you.
I said, yeah, a little bit.
You're a little bit upset with this family?
Yeah.
If you had the, do you think that family should get back everything that they stole from you guys for generations?
Yes.
Do you think that family is wrong from stealing from you guys in the first place?
Yes.
Would you still be willing to try and fight for your stuff back? But you're only a little bit mad. Still want to fight for it. I get it. Okay, well now here comes the rest of the questions for this aspect of the piece. And after I ask you guys these questions is when I'm going to reveal to you what it was about. And mind you, anybody can jump in and answer these questions at any time if you so choose. Now, if you had the opportunity to take back everything that was stolen outside of the law or by unconventional means, would you? He said, of course.
Find a way.
Find a way. I ain't even mad. If you were members of that other family, and mind you, by now this is 3 generations. They done built up like multi-millions in net worth and businesses and resources and stuff based off of what was stolen from you. If you were in this other family, would you give the stuff back?
I wouldn't give it all back because of the fact that you built on it, so it made it to the point where it was more than it was when it was stolen. But at the point where it was stolen, I would want that back.
All right, can you say that just a little louder in case we didn't get it?
Basically, you don't have to give it all back, but what you stole, you have to give back. Because it didn't belong to you, so you made money off of it, that's okay, I can let that go. But the actual property or the actual things I would want back that was stolen.
All right, my next question, sorry, I had a partner wanted to go to a barbecue, so I'm solo. Yeah, do you think that because you get to shop at, even though this family they built their stores and stuff off of what was stolen from you, do you think that because they let you shop at their places and whatnot, and occasionally you may get a discount, do you think that that's enough for payback? No, that's a resounding no. Do you think that, say you have a family member, you say you have a sister or a cousin who finds one of the members of that other family who's been robbing you really cute, and they've been secretly dating and whatnot, but that sister still wants to be considered in the legacy. So if someone dies, she still wants a piece of the fortune, even though she's planning on marrying this person from the other family. Would you guys still let that cousin or that sister, that family member in the will?
Matters of the heart is not the same as matters of finance. So I think that can't help who you fall in love with. So you go let the family members be with whoever they want to be with, and you don't make them lesser of a family member because they fell in love with somebody that you don't like.
Even if there's a possibility they get with that family member, and now that family member has rights to you guys' stuff, something happens to her, now they get more from you guys.
You still can't. Yeah. And so it's like matters of the heart. You can't mix with business. So.
Well, basically, this entire analogy, big reveal, this entire analogy was about African people and reparations. So do you guys agree that, or do you guys feel that African people deserve reparations?
Yeah, they should have got that when it was promised.
Right. That was promised so long ago.
They should have got that when it was promised. They were actually getting it, and then they killed Lincoln, and then they didn't get it.
Well, Lincoln only freed the slaves because of financial causes, etc. But aside from that, okay, so we know today that everything that the privilege afforded to European Americans, the business, the opportunities, all that, every single thing was basically built off of a legacy, and it's continuing to thrive off of the fact that African people are still oppressed. We may not be all in chattel slavery, but they have the prison system designed specifically to literally return African people to slavery. We literally have hundreds of thousands of brothers and sisters picking cotton and tobacco in the South right now because they're in prison. And we know that the law enforcement is designed to be able to set us up and enforce the law created to keep us oppressed so that they can throw us in jail and make us slaves again. So even everything that's going on today is just still the same thing with a new face, and we're still getting robbed. So I say I agree with you. I'd say I absolutely agree with you.
So how do you feel about privatizing prisons?
I just kind of mentioned that part.
How do you feel about it?
I think it's ridiculous. I think if every African person in prison band together and said we're not going to work, then the prison industry would collapse, and so would major of the financial industries, major business corporations in America.
So you think that prisons should be funded by the states?
I don't think that African people should be under the jurisdiction of a European system. I think we should have our own justice system outside of the traditional system now, because we're getting judged by people who set up laws to purposely imprison us. So we're not fair. It's not a fighting chance from the beginning.
So, but European laws are based off the Bible, right?
No, in my opinion, laws are based off of this European construct to keep order so that they can maintain their privilege and power.
But they are based off the Bible.
Okay, then let me know.
Which was written by, because if you look back in time, before prison systems were created,
Okay. All right.
we had our own system, which was a system that was based out of Africa, right? Yeah. So we basically, we represented our people, right? And then all of a sudden, the Bible came into it, and everything became from a biblical point of view. That's how they started to sanction.
I do think that the Bible is definitely used as a tool by Europeans to justify their own views and whatnot. I do think it's a manipulated text used specifically for the purpose of enslaving indigenous people, especially African people. So in that respect, I do completely understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. And that's why I'm saying we need to have our own systems and whatnot, go back to our original ways, because that was what was working for us before colonial influence, before the Bible, before Europeans, because the Bible came with Europeans. And that was their major tool to justify everything.
That's generations removed. So how do you go back and undo everything that's been done? You can't.
Well, not today, but what I can do, and I'm an educator, and I plan on opening up my own schools by and for African people solely. So everything about the curriculum is African-based, by and for African people, back to our pre-colonial practices, all of that. So what we can do, it's hard to uncondition the minds of today, but the minds of the future haven't been conditioned yet. So if they're provided an outlet and opportunity for them to be able to come in and not instantly be born into slavery, but into cognitive freedom, then that gives them the opportunity to come up with the actual solutions and have the will and the courage to be the revolutionaries necessary to destroy the system and create a new one that's good for people, period.
I appreciate your opinion, but everything you say go against what Karl Marx's theories are.
I know who Karl Marx is, and I know what his theories are, but I know what my theories are.
Okay,
I study Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Huey, Bobby Seale, I keep forgetting his name, but I study all the revolutionaries, and I see what has worked and where things kind of went left, and I've been using that to see what I can do to formulate real solutions that'll eventually get our people to where we need to be able to take our freedom, because it's not going to be given to us.
So you take all these NBA players, and you take all these prominent athletes and blacks that have money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other than the clothing line, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a schooling system in place right now that's solely funded by African Americans?
Not yet.
Even though we have the money for it, we don't have a car dealership, right? What does that tell you?
It tells you that we're buying into the stigma of what we're supposed to believe, that we're only going to be good as ball players and that are athletes or entertainers, and then we're not properly educated on what to fund and our values, basically this, our values as African people have been misplaced, and it's been replaced by the values of a Eurocentric community, and they've done this so that we can continue to basically be slaves. So to reestablish African values so that we can get to a place where we can really be able to truly be successful. Success to me is not determined by how many cars you have, how much money you have, how much your house costs, or how many people you got jogging you. To me, success is determined by the legacy that you build and the longevity of it. How much longer will this last after you go? How will this be able to be built upon once you pass? If they shut down all the stores today, do you have land that you can farm and cultivate? Do you know how to utilize those resources? Did you make sure that you purchase land near fresh water? Things of that nature. Are you skilled enough to be able to survive on your own? Would you be able to do this to the third? If they said we were shutting everything down tomorrow, a lot of us will be in trouble, including those billion-dollar athletes where their money doesn't matter anymore, including those entertainers, all that.
Exactly. Because it's not, they have money, it's not wealth. You see, what happens is
You may have to speak up just a little bit. They do.
They get financial stability confused with wealth. Wealth is generational. That's which a lot of people have. First generation families that, kids fresh out of the ghetto who got $1 million contract.
Oh yeah, it is.
$1 million contract, multi-million-dollar contract, but he never got the tools. Growing up, so his mom, dad probably wasn't there, but he doesn't know how he can build on what he had.
So my next question is, because we've already done the whole reparations aspect of it. I mean, we know we're old, but if you were given the opportunity to be a revolutionary, to be able to take back what is yours, even though, of course, everything that we do is illegal, then would you do it?
Would I take back?
What's yours?
We're at the very end.
What's mine?
Almost honestly everything.
To me,
The resources cultivated off of this land, the wealth cultivated off of this land.
we're at the very
Well,
end.
the natives, the land is theirs, but what was made off of the land is not all necessarily all the resources. If I had it my way, do you mind? Oh wait, it's wet. It's wet. I'd break it down like this. If I had it my way, every European across the world needs to leave indigenous places with their 2 suitcases, hop on Southwest, and go back to Europe and figure it out and leave everything to the indigenous people. Because African people, we're in a unique situation because we were imports. We were imported to this country. Oh no, it's good. So basically, what I say is, as far as what's been built up off this land, because we were the ones who were forced to build this country, literally build this country. I think the land definitely, exactly. Native Americans, they deserve they deserve their land back, definitely. African people, it's up to them if they want to. Okay, so if every European left tomorrow, the houses that were left, the money that was left in the banks, the clothes, all kinds of stuff, that's all you. The land itself, it's up to Native Americans what they want to do with it, and it's up to African people whether or not we want to stay or go, because us being in a displaced position makes it unique to us, and we are given that choice of whether or not we want to return to Africa or stay here.
I get what you're saying.
But African people also.
2016. it's 2016. You feel me? And because I say that, I say you can only look back so far and say this happened, this happened, this happened before you gotta shut your past and move on.
But the past affects the
It's
present.
only so much you can do. I get it. They owe us, you know. It was built.
It's current.
It was built on our fathers and great grandfathers, but it's so you have to move forward. You know, would it be nice to get something, even if it was just your family here? Here's a generational wealth for one generation, and you build off that. Yeah, sure. But like I said, it's 2016. We gotta look forward, and we can't look forward if we keep looking back.
What is forward to you? How's looking forward?
Look forward. We have to stand as a unit. We gotta stop fighting. We gotta get the fathers back in the home. That's where it went wrong. We took the fathers out, and now we look at TV. Who controls mass media? Mass media is controlled by who? The wealthiest of the wealthy, right? They're not black. They're not native. All right? So, they control what you see, therefore they control your mind. This whole, homosexuality thing, right?
This one right
You
here.
see it on TV, you see it on TV, you see it on TV, and all of a sudden it's okay. It's not. Marriage is confined between a man and a woman. Simple as that. Right? But then we go back to the biblical aspect of it. Which, is that really our teaching?
It's not.
Exactly. But I didn't want to bring that up, but you're right. It's not.
And I understand, and also if it is helpful, I'm an African spiritualist.
Okay.
I'm not a Christian, so I don't get sensitive when talking about the factual uses and what's really real about Christianity and the Bible and stuff. With that being said, even when you're talking about like reuniting the families and all that, those are all pre-colonial African principles.
Right.
So there are tools of the past. We need the tools of the past to build the future. We can't. I mean, that's the only thing that we can build with. We can't move forward without knowing where we've been, because we'll be walking in circles and not even know it.
But what I'm saying, right, is you can personally, if you wanted to, personally, you can go to a library, you can pick up that book, you can read it. That's the only way you're going to get ahead. You're going to have to do this study yourself. You got to better yourself and reach back and better somebody else until
Everybody's
moving
there
in the same direction. But we can't keep looking back, because we keep looking back.
Well, if that's the case,
I'm not saying forget everything, but you have to learn it. But you can't keep going back to, oh, that's why I'm hurt. I'm hurt because of this.
well, you have to know
No, you
why.
gotta keep moving forward.
You have to know why you're sick, so you can heal a sickness.
It's up to
right?
you to go back and learn that, right?
Yeah, but that's the point that I'm making here. It's about the sickness is the perfect example. I'm sick. I can't go and just get any cure until I know why I'm sick. So us knowing about the past and knowing what happened and knowing what went down is so that we can know what's going on, so we can know how to. It's so that we can. It's so that we can learn how to fix the problems. If we don't know what's wrong, how are we going to fix it? Your truck broke down. You're trying to fix a tire when really it's your transmission, because you don't know what's wrong with it.
But you have pretext, right? Knowledge. So that's what the school system does. Not our school system. They
was gonna say.
Right? They give you a base. They know.
They don't even give you a base. They give you.
Well, the school I went to gave me a base. I knew that there was more, and I knew there was more that I wasn't learning. Therefore, I personally sought that out. It's a personal decision to seek out knowledge.
That I absolutely agree with you. But it also, once you get the knowledge, if you just forget about people who don't have it, that's not right either. Like you said, you have to reach back. So you do have to look back in order to pull people forward. If we just move forward and kept forgetting about people behind us, we're going to be standing alone on the other side.
I get what you're saying.
I don't think you should stop there. I don't think you should look back and stay back.
Right.
I think you should look back so that you can know what to do when you get forward.
Agree.
I think that's the best way to put it. Well, I'm going to call that a wrap. I really do appreciate your participation. I was really trying to get more younger black men and women to do this, but a lot of them just don't want to. I've had
You said I'm not young.
No, that's why I'm saying I appreciate. Well, I think you're young. Are you young?
I'm old.
How old? Are you really 50? I was finna say. Black don't even ring. Black don't even fold, let alone crack.
No.
But I was definitely trying to reach a more youthful demographic. I've had a little more willing participation from older generations. I'm really struggling trying to get Europeans to do this documentary. But they don't know what it's about yet, though. And they're just like, no, I don't want to do it. I think it's because...
I thought you were going towards OJ. Of course you lean towards OJ.
I thought she was going towards Juneteenth.
Juneteenth?
Yeah.
OJ, yeah.
I don't celebrate Juneteenth either.
Really? Why not?
No.
Why not?
Because, one, we weren't free. It's not...
We weren't free, but it's closer than this.
I mean, I guess. I mean, and also that's why I do every year. This is my second year in a row. This is the second part to my series. So last year on 4th of July, I was asking people, black people especially, you know, why do you celebrate? What were your ancestors doing June 4th or July 4th, 1776? Things of that nature. Because I do think that it's very interesting, to say the least, to see African people running around celebrating something that's not for us.
What? It's something to do. That's pretty much what they'll tell you. Well, a lot of people don't even know about Juneteenth.
My only thing with Juneteenth, again, emancipation does not mean freedom. We just got, it literally means transfer of ownership. Now we belong to the government, so they go and get police to round us up and throw us back into slavery again.
The prison system didn't become the means of slavery until they privatized, i.e. took geo corporations and made it the head, i.e. the state didn't pay per bed. Now, you know, the state didn't build a facility. Now geo, they're not governed by the same laws that the state institution is governed by. So with geo, you can work your inmates a certain, and then you can pay them a certain fee, which is less than what the state is mandated to pay, and therefore you get more service. So when you get out of prison, you were working at call center, and as soon as you get out, you're no longer hireable at the call center that you've been working at for 15 years for 37 cents an hour.
Exactly, and the cold part with that is not only, and then also once you leave prison, you still have to pay the prison back because of the housing, clothing, feeding. That's exactly what it was in Haiti. They won the revolution. The French had to go, but the French said, "We're not leaving until you pay us." So Haiti is still paying the French money, even though for their own freedom, even though they had paid the French money for being enslaved the whole time.
As an African American, you're never free.
That's my point. So what are we celebrating on Juneteenth?
What do you mean? What are we? It was like you said, a transfer. Okay, it was we had a
new owners. Yay!
We had a chance in there where we could have done what we were supposed to do and unify. So, you know, when you look at America and you think about the black community, you think of Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was bombed by the government. That was the only time in American history that a bomb has been dropped.
No, that was the first time. It wasn't the only time
in American history that has been dropped in America. It's never been dropped on American soil before that point.
Especially not by the American government. At this point, though, the battery on this thing is about to die. So I'm gonna let this go. Alright, go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Kiana.
My name's Nathan. My name's Betty.
And so your great-grandfather walked up to his son like, yo, everything that you have has been stolen from my family. It has been stolen for the past 2 generations now. 2. And the dude's like, well, you know what? It's not my problem. All I did was inherit it. So he's like, okay, so you want to play? All right, I'm going to sue you. They take him to court, and then the judge tells him, hey, you know what? You snooze, you lose. You just got robbed. So then court didn't work out. So like, you know what, I'm gonna get what's mine. So you know they're gonna go and try and take the stuff, and then they end up in jail for trying to take back what was stolen from them. So then he's like, okay, he finally gets out of jail. And once he gets out of jail, mind you that the family that's been stolen from them, they took the money that was stolen from his family for the past 2 generations. They went and invested that in the prison system. The prison systems are owned by private corporations. So they're making money off of him being in jail for trying to steal his own stuff back. So he comes out, he's pissed. Okay, not only was I robbed, you know, I had to, you know, I still have to pay these people for robbing me, and I still ain't get my stuff back. So now he's like, he gets out of jail, and he, you know, still has to go take some stupid job that doesn't pay a lot of money because not many people hire convicts, you know. But he still saves up a little bit of money, and just before he dies, he wants to pass it on to his son, your grandfather, and then it gets stolen by the same damn people again. And exactly. Now, mind you, this family, this is 3 generations. They built a lot of money based off of stealing, you know. They done built businesses off of it. They done invested it. They went in the businesses that your family opened up. They went during riots. They had sent people in there to destroy their property. So that when the riots were over, your family had to sell the businesses for them to go buy it and put in it the stuff that they already looted from you. So even now you have to shop at the stores to give these people your money from stores that was yours because you want to eat, and now they own everything. Now, if you try to take your stuff back, you go to jail and you're making them more money because they have stakes in the prison system. And then also, of course, the law doesn't care about the fact that you've been robbed. So now your father's sitting here, he didn't get his legacy. He's getting tired because he knows this is happening for generations, but he wants his stuff back to give it to you guys, you know? So your father goes up to him like, look, bruh, everything you own is not yours. Give me my stuff. This is the issue. I'm not taking it. So now, you know, of course, the same thing happens. They don't get the stuff back. And now your father's still alive. Well, now they're about to pass the stuff down to you. So it's now, it's all on your shoulders now. So it's up to you. It's off. Is that family wrong for stealing from you guys this whole time?
Yes. Because why? No. That's like very disrespectful. Like this person has worked like all their life, and now like it's just going.
For what? Okay, my next question is, do you think that they should pay you guys back everything they stole from you?
Yes.
Including the stuff they built off of what was stolen from you?
Yes, because like, that's not
tax
because
it.
they make the money. Because like the money comes from that, and like that's like his money. It's his property. Exactly, because they're using his money.
But it's your, well, now it's up to you. It's your generation, so now it's your money, you know?
So
and now it's down to you guys now. It's happening now. It's up to you guys. Would you guys continue to fight for your stuff back?
Yeah.
It's hands every time you see that family, huh?
Yeah.
It's going down.
On site, no worries.
If you had the opportunity, to take back what was yours outside of the law or by unconventional means, would you?
Yes. I mean, even though you will get in trouble for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
But you get in trouble when you go through the law too. You still don't get your stuff back.
Yeah. So
I might as well fight for it. All right. If you were members of that other family, would you give the stuff back?
Nope. So if you were members of the other family,
yeah.
that took the money.
Yeah. If you were a part of the other family, would you get the stuff back?
Yeah.
No. Because I took it, I don't need to give it back.
Yeah, but you just said you wanted.
Okay, but that's the thing though. She's thinking about it from the other people's shoes, which is why I mean a lot of people, if they were the other way around, everything that you own was stolen. So if you give it back, you don't have nothing.
I would, try to half.
Half. But at least that's a piece of it.
That's like unfair. Like you should.
It's definitely wrong.
You're like building property and you're like the other member's shoes, but like you actually feel bad at the end of the day and you would want to give it back.
Okay, so my next question is this. Oh, sorry, I almost lost the page. My next question is, do you think that just because they let you shop at their businesses and give you a discount on the rent, that that's enough for payback?
No, because like they could be making millions of dollars and stuff, but like that's nothing compared to like a couple thousand and stuff. But like no, like I want my full share. Like I want all of this. This is what I work for. I want everything back.
You want it all back. All right. So one of your sisters decides they want to go date somebody in this other family. They're talking about getting married. Is your sister going to still be included in the will?
Yeah, because that's gonna have their last name and stuff, and like that's like a part of that family.
Okay, but what about if you're
to choose though?
Well, your brother. What about if it's your brother who married it? And even still, if anything happens, that person now has a part of your legacy, and they didn't even have to rob you for it.
I don't know.
I don't know. You still my sister, but you're not getting none of the. You're not gonna. Don't compromise my family legacy. If you really my sister, you care about the family, you would think about it. This family has been robbing you for generations. How you gonna find love in that? How you gonna find love in the people that robbed you for generations?
Oh yeah, I get it.
You gotta play them. Get your money back and leave them.
Oh yeah, like get all the
But that can go the
numbers,
other way around though. They can easily, especially if your sister or your cousin or your brother is so in love, it just ends up happening. They just find another way to rob you. Well, this is the part where I reveal everything. Basically, what if I told you that the second family that's been robbing your family this whole time was white? Does your mind change about anything?
No.
Do you guys understand what reparations is? Reparations is what was promised to African people when they ended slavery. They were supposed to give us money and land to substitute for the fact that they had robbed us and exploited us for hundreds of years. But since slavery has been over, they still haven't given us anything back. And on top of that, they continue to exploit us and they continue to steal from us. The prison system is owned by private corporations. The same Europeans that go and benefit from you being in jail are the same Europeans that have you in conditions where you're set up to go to jail, are the same Europeans that control your school system, that control your government and everything else. So the reason why I brought this up is because a lot of people our age and in our generation feel like, well, white people today, they didn't steal from us, so why should we expect them to pay us back? When all actuality is they have stolen from you and they're continuing to do so.
No, we just don't notice it.
You just don't notice it. Exactly. It's got a new face to it. They just put on the makeup, they just contort, they just, now their eyebrows are fleeky and now all of a sudden we think it's a whole new person when in reality it's the same thing. So if you still had an opportunity to take back your reparations, even if it means that your white friends, they owe you, their families owe you, all that kind of stuff, would you still want your stuff back?
Yes. That's kind of hard because that could be like your close friend. But that would be disrespectful because if you're not gonna touch my close friend, you wouldn't do anything to hurt me.
And you would, especially if you really love and care about me, you really care about me and whatnot, you're gonna do what you can to make it better, right?
Yes.
So give me my shit. Oh, give me my stuff back. I want it all. But do you know? Can you truly consider someone your friend if they won't do what it takes to make something right?
Wait.
Would you truly consider someone your friend if they won't do what it takes to make things right?
No.
So do you think that you can truly have friends by the same people that robbed you?
No.
Yeah. Because they have nothing to do with it.
But that's the same thing with the generations of that robbed your grandfather. Hey, I didn't steal from you, but I'm not going to get the stuff back. But they have the opportunity to right the wrong. And then just like how you said, maybe I'll give them a little something back. What about because it's a European, your ideas changed? Well, the reason why I'm doing this documentary is to get us to think. For example, what were your ancestors doing July 4th, 1776? 1776, the Independence Day, the day.
Oh, that's sorry, independence and stuff.
Yeah, 4th of July in 1776, the very first one. What were your ancestors doing? My thing, I've been in America. My family's been in America for generations. I'm an African in America, and my family was still slaves in July 4th, 1776. This was not our Independence Day. We didn't get our independence. We didn't get our freedom on this day. Yet I look around and I see nothing but African people in red, white, and blue. So what are we celebrating? Do we have a reason to celebrate? Because the same people that oppressed us and enslaved us, and this is their time for freedom, and we didn't get freedom too, even though we fought for their freedom. So do you think it makes sense for African people to celebrate the 4th of July?
No.
So why do you think we do it anyway?
Because we don't see what's happening, what's going on and stuff, and we don't understand, we're so blinded by other things and stuff, but we're really not, realizing the real stuff.
So would you guys celebrate the 4th of July next year, even though you know all of this?
Actually,
probably not for the but like just to have fun.
but like I would tell more people, like, do you even know what are we celebrating for? Like, when we don't have enough like independence and stuff. Like, where no one's like, we're not equal. We're still the same way.
It's all the same thing with the new face. My only thing with that is, even though a lot of black people they don't really care about the meaning of 4th of July, they still go and buy their outfits. You know, they still go and buy their red, white, and blue. They go and get their specialized picnic cloths, all that kind of stuff, buy a whole bunch of food, and all that money is going to is the same people who are exploiting them and are taking advantage of us, and who are participants in our neo-enslavement. Neo means new. So with that being said, I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't care about the meaning. I'm just celebrating this time with my family. You can do that any day. You can do that the 4th of August. You can do that the 4th of June. But we choose to do it on the 4th of July, and we buy into all this stuff, and we're funding our own enslavement. You know, we're funding the impoverishment of our own people. All that money that we're investing into everyone else's companies, we're not spending our money at black-owned and operated businesses where we make our own flags and stuff. We're spending it on everybody else's stuff, right? So that's still not helping us. It's actually part of the problem. Well, the whole point of all of this was to give you guys something to think about. You know, hopefully with this being said, you know, you guys can continue further research and whatnot. Okay, do you want to say your name? A little louder? Oh, where are you from, Moses? Well, Kenya. Okay, Ghana, Congo, and Nigeria. Yeah. I mean, I've been in America for a couple generations, but I took my DNA test. I know. I got some Kenyan homegirls too. They bad. I'm like, okay, I see my Kenyan brothers and sisters doing it. I might have to go to Kenya. Everybody look like you. Shoot. Anywho. Basically, I'm gonna start with the analogy, okay? Keep it really simple. Your great. Quick question: Were you born in America or did you come here? How long have you been here? 6 years. Did you? And when you went to school in Kenya, did they tell you guys anything about African people here in America? They didn't tell you about our history or anything?
I was a kid still. I was a baby still.
Oh, but you've been in America for 6 years. Well, how old are you?
16.
16. Well, 10, you know. I guess. I get it. Alrighty. I do find that a lot of continental people, they come not having a clue about what has happened to the African people here. So there's like a little disconnect there, and it's my job to help bridge that gap, because the truth is there's nothing different but a boat stop. Grandfather has been through the same thing. He tried to open up stores and businesses. The other family went and they created like a riot. They incited a riot in the neighborhood and got your business looted and all that other kind of stuff. And then when the riots were over, you had to foreclose the business because everything got jacked up. And then they went and bought that property and opened up a business again with the stuff they looted from your own business. So now you're dealing with that too. Then on top of it, now it's your father, and now it's down to you and your father. Your father went up to people like, hey, you know, you robbed my father and his father, I want my stuff back. Your dad's like, I'm going to sue you. Your dad goes to court, the court says, hey, you just got robbed, I don't know what to tell you. Then, you know, so your dad tried to do it within the law didn't help him. So your dad's like, okay, I'm going to take what's mine. It's not an issue. I'm going to get my stuff. So your dad goes and tries to steal his stuff back, which isn't really stealing because it's his, you know. So the police are like, no, you can't do that. And then your dad ends up going to jail for trying to steal his own stuff back. And now the people who've been robbing you, they've invested some of their money in the prison system. So when your dad goes to jail, he's in there literally working to make the money. And then when you get out of jail, you still have to pay back the jail for having you in there. So now he has to pay back money to the jail. And now he can't get hired anywhere else to make more money because of the fact that he's still paying back the people who robbed him. So you see how that's a like really jacked up situation? So now it's up to you. Your dad's like, you know what? It's up to you to get our family legacy back. I couldn't do it. My dad couldn't do it. His dad couldn't do it. His dad couldn't do it. And this is the part where I start to ask you the question. So my first question is, do you think that the second family is wrong for stealing from your family this whole time? Do you think that they should pay back what they stole?
I know it's up to them to pay back.
But do you think they should pay it back?
Me? Yes.
You think they should pay? I want my stuff. Would you continue to fight for what was stolen from your family? Would you? If you have the opportunity to take it back outside of the law, would you? If you were members of that other family, would you return the stuff? Why not?
I mean, I'm getting paid, I'm getting wealthy, so I should turn something back to them. I'm getting money.
Even though it was stolen and it's wrong, you don't care about it being wrong or it being stolen. And apparently they don't care about it either. Okay. Do you think that because you get to shop at the business that's opened up at by this other family, and because they let you like get a discount on your rent in the apartments they stole from you, do you think that's enough to pay you back? Why not?
They stole everything from me. Like I had nothing.
You shouldn't have to be paying them in the first place. I still gotta pay you rent. This is supposed to be my apartment.
Exactly.
Okay. Your sister decides to go and start dating someone in the other family. You don't trust them because their whole family's been robbing you this whole time. When it comes time for you to make a will, are you gonna have your sister in the will? No? Why not?
If the guy is my sister, I wouldn't like accept it because the way he treats our family and stuff. So I'll be like, no, we can't date him. I'm sorry.
And if she chooses to date him anyway, would you still let her get a part of your family inheritance? You worked your whole life to build it up, and she's going to go date someone who's been robbing you and may steal it again. Would you put her in your will? Okay, well, this analogy was basically for African people in reparations. When slavery was over, African people in America were supposed to get paid back for all the labor that we produced and all the work and all that kind of stuff. But we never got paid back, and then on top of that, each generation, they're continuing to, basically, it's called neo-enslavement. When you go to jail, you're legally a slave again. They take away all your rights. We literally have hundreds of thousands of African people, continental and diasporic, in American prisons, literally picking cotton and tobacco today as we speak. And then when you leave prison, you still have to pay back prison because they had you in prison, basically. It's crazy, but it's how it works. Then on top of that, we're put in environments and conditions to where we can't do anything to get ahead because it's built for us not to. So African people today are supposed to still be owed reparations, and we're held back because we haven't been given what's back what was ours. So now that you know that this other family is a European family, it's literally white people everyday white people who, celebrate their benefits of having privilege in a society built by your brothers and sisters that were stolen from your native land, robbed of who they are so that some European can go sing African songs on the 4th of July. Do you think that's okay? Do you still think that these Europeans, these everyday Europeans that you don't know and whatnot, do you still think that they owe you? So if you had the opportunity to take back what was yours, would you still do it? Would you still hold them accountable for what they did and what they're continuing to do? Even though they're your friends? So would you be friends with someone who robbed you? If I came right now, jacked you for your whole outfit and started wearing it, and then I said, oh, I want to be friends, would you be friends with me? So do you think that's the same thing when you're friends with European people in America today who literally have done the same thing with the finesse?
I mean, I hang out my African friends and stuff. I hang out white people. I share my friends African.
Okay. Now my question is, do you consider Africans in America, those of us who have been here for generations, do you consider us Africans too? Well, one, that's good to know, because it's very few that I hear no. But one thing I want continental people to understand is I don't speak English because I chose to, I had to go and take a DNA test to find out who I am, and now I'm learning Lingala and Twi and stuff and getting into my native cultures and whatnot. And we have a whole group of people, African people across the world, who were robbed of who we are so that other people can go and exploit it and indulge in it. So I want content, but the same thing happens on the continent. I know for a fact there are some schools in Uganda and Ghana and Nigeria where you get in trouble if you don't speak English in school. If you speak your native tongue, you get in trouble. Well, here, they beat the tongue out of us before we could get to school, and then now we just don't know it, period. We have invading forces and controlling our education systems on the continent. We have us going to Eurocentric schools in America. We have us being exploited for our resources and our labor here in America. On the continent, you have the same thing happening by the same people here in America and other Europeans. So I really want it to be understood that nothing's changed for the both sides. Like, we're all still in the same boat. We're all still brothers and sisters. It's just some of us, or unfortunately, we didn't have a choice to get lost. We were stolen, So I do find it appreciative and refreshing to the fact that you do still see continental Africans the same as diasporic ones. Because at the end of the day, it's all the same, And with your opinions of understanding this whole concept with the Europeans, and the example I gave about your sister going and dating someone from the other family, that's in reference to clearly an African person going and dating a European, which is why I kind of wanted to have them in an interview too, to see, you know, their opinions on the situation. Well, knowing that it's the same analogy, how do you feel about your friends? And clearly you have a homeboy who's like hugging all over old girl. How do you feel about that, and knowing that these are the same people that are literally living, they're living, and their everyday lives are nothing but benefits of the oppression of those same people that are laying all over you? How does that make? How do you feel about that? Disappointed? Have you talked to your friends about your disappointment?
My mom, that's pretty much it.
I get it. I mean, I'm in Washington. I'm from California. So in Washington, most of the couples I see around here are not, it's not black love couples, it's interracial couples. And to me, black love is very important because that's how you get black people, by black love. And I want there to still be black people. I love myself, I love my people, I want there to be more of us. I want kids that look like me. But out here, it's a huge culture of mixing and getting as far away from black as possible. I know a lot of black women, especially dark-skinned black women, who grow up hearing, oh, you're ugly, or oh, I only date mixed girls, or only date white girls and stuff like that, by brothers that look like them. And these are the same black men who have black moms and black sisters and black aunties and black cousins and stuff. So I really want to see the relationships mended between our brothers and sisters. Black women are hurt because we grew up being hurt by black men. Black men are hurt. Okay, oh, I almost lost it. The family relationships that are being hurt by the same people who people are stepping out with. So my message to you, as a beautiful young black man, a beautiful young African man, is to just celebrate black love. And when you see your sisters, just regardless of whether she's here or not, whatever, whether you know her, I promise you that hello, that just being friendly and whatnot, it does a lot and it says a lot. And it's honestly, it's up to us to be the change, you know. You want to see more black people together and whatnot, then associate with more black people who have the same goals. You want to see more black love, then you participate in it, you know. And if you meet people that are hurt, you have to understand that there's reasons why, and it's conditioning, and try and help people to, and don't let that deter you, for example, from seeing someone a certain way, you know. So don't give up on us, I promise you. And I'm telling young black women the same thing. I want it to be, next time I come to visit Washington, to see more and more people that look like you with people that look like you than this epidemic of everybody else, you know? Because at the end of the day, when it boils down to it, when revolution does come and it's time to take back what's ours, there's going to be a really blurry line in this state because of what's considered ours and whatnot. A lot of African people don't want to do what it takes to take back what is ours because it affects their significant others who are not African people. And they're more concerned about the people that are actively participating in their oppression than they are about themselves and their own people. But I'm going to, do you have any final remarks that you want to say in the interview? You know? And the family that's been stealing from you guys has invested money in the prison system. So when your family went to jail trying to take the stuff back, they still were making money off of you being in jail now. So it just seems like a lose situation for your family. Now it's up to you guys. Your guys' dads have, you know, your dad is worried about himself getting robbed before he can pass this stuff to you guys. But he wants you guys to have your legacy. This other family, since they've been robbing you for generations, they built up a lot of wealth. They own businesses. They own the apartment complexes that you guys were supposed to own because you created them, and then they went and undercut you through Wall Street and stole the apartment complex. Everything that was supposed to be yours is now owned by these people. And now, so when you go to the grocery store, they're running your grocery store. You got to buy your groceries from them. You know, your apartment that your guys' family always lives in, you guys have to pay them rent. You know, everything that was supposed to be yours is someone else's, and you still end up having to pay these people. And so they're basically still robbing you. So my questions go, now this is where I ask you guys the questions. The first question is this family wrong for stealing from you guys?
Of course.
It's kind of, it's like a stupid question, huh? I'm going somewhere with this. So, do you think that family should get back everything that they stole from you guys?
Yes.
Okay, so if you had the opportunity to get your stuff back by unconventional means or maybe outside the law, would you?
What do you mean?
Unconventionally mean like, okay, your family has tried getting lawyers, you tried taking them to court and stuff, it hasn't worked. if you have the opportunity to get your stuff back by like basically like stealing it back or like she said I'm getting my stuff.
I got a question. You already say that last time we tried to steal this back, they already went to prison.
Last time someone before you tried to steal it back, yes, but maybe you
There's no point in trying to steal it back.
But at the exactly.
At
the end of the day, it's my stuff. It was my family stuff. So of course I'm gonna go and fight for it regardless. Like at least, what if it changes? What if it's different?
If I try to fight for it, like okay, let's say this.
Make sure you
I went
stick
to court.
us.
I lost in court, right?
Yeah.
I lost when I tried to actually steal it back. I went to prison. They got money up for me stealing it back. I mean, I'm just done trying. Like,
You're broke. You got nothing else to do.
Exactly.
You know,
you gotta fight for what's right. Like you gotta understand.
I'll tell you this.
Everybody along the way fought for it. So why can't you? Why do you have to want to be to give up? Like why does it have to be you? Why can't you fight? Like
we lose. And we keep on
exactly.
losing.
But
So,
you think like
you
you
just
about
gonna
your
stop
great grandparents of like the slaves and stuff like that. They lost. But we're here right now, aren't we? So why would you give up? They gave us the opportunity to go to college.
She said, listen. Okay, the way I see
Coming
it
up with
is
squad.
but the way I see it is Malcolm X said it best. He said, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Basically, I'd rather die fighting for my freedom of dying for me than to live sitting here like, yes, massa, okay, I'll take this mediocre beneath me existence that you blessed me with, you know? But I understand where you're coming from. You keep getting knocked down. Sometimes it's hard to get back up. I understand it. I don't agree with it.
I understand. You give.
I mean, let me just start all over.
I understand. You give up.
Yeah, but every time you guys have started all over, that hasn't worked either because you still get robbed.
Oh, we're still getting robbed?
Yeah,
I thought it was
every generation, you guys start over and you get robbed again.
I didn't get that. I thought it was like that one piece of land.
No, every generation you guys start over. You change your mind. It's circumstantial. Okay, you guys were members of the other family. Would you give the stuff back?
Wait, what?
I would give the stuff back because I would feel like we're doing something wrong.
But honestly, you gotta like.
It's like this right here.
But honestly, if I was other groups speaking from them, and if I was in a struggle just like them, and I had to fight for what I had, I wouldn't give it back.
I wouldn't give it back. Honestly, because think about it like this.
With all that work taken,
growing up,
I wouldn't give it back. It depends on the situation. What if they're not struggling? What if they're living it up?
Then I would give it back.
My thing is, you guys in the other family, the point is, for generations, everything that they had was stolen from somebody. So it was never, I mean, even the stuff they built off of it was off of stolen goods.
I mean,
so you inherit, everything you inherited was stolen.
I can't really say that because I'm really not in that situation. So it might be different. But as of right now, like my mindset, if I was in the struggle and I sold the land and they gave me everything that I have right now, then honestly, no, I wouldn't give it back.
All right.
That sounds bad, but I wouldn't.
So,
no, I mean like
everything that you own belongs to someone else. Would you give it back? No, everything.
Because then I'm not gonna have nothing.
Yeah.
Even though you stole it in the first, even though you inherited stolen goods. The restaurant right there. If there's more people, they can come and do it too if they want to.
I'd keep it. I'd keep it.
Okay, do you think because you get to go to these stores that they opened up with your stolen money, is that enough for payback?
No.
Do you think because they give you Section 8 on the apartments that they own, that they stole from you, is that enough?
It's not enough.
I want my land back.
It's better than nothing.
I want what I owned at the beginning. I want what my great grandparents owned at the beginning, which is my land.
Okay, and my final question is, okay, say one of your sisters or your brothers or your cousins or whatever decides they want to go get in a relationship with someone from this other family. Would you still have their name in the will?
That's like some Romeo and Juliet type stuff.
Like they could bring some money back to us.
Well, they could also get the money taken away.
I want their money back. I'm about to take the 50.
Even at the compromise of your family's legacy
my
again.
sister messing with them, I wouldn't claim her.
My question is, how could you go and fall for someone who's been robbing you for generations?
But it's like at the end of the day, you can't help like who you fall in love for, who you fall for at the end of the day.
Okay,
it's like, just because like it's just like Romeo and Juliet had like how the parents and like they were against each other. It's like, what if that son or that daughter wasn't exactly how that family was?
But that son and daughter is not talking about giving you back what they stole from you. They're just talking about marrying you.
Okay, what about this?
They love each other.
They marry each other. The next generation is gonna be along with each other. Now with family.
Well, no, that's not.
Hey,
that sounds good theoretically. It sounds good. Well, this analogy was about African people and reparations. So basically, us as African people today, everything that Europeans, their privilege and all that kind of stuff is owed to us and is stolen. A lot of young white people feel like, oh, that was my ancestors' problem, it doesn't matter to me, or oh, you know, why should I make someone today pay for what their parents did and whatnot? And I'm like, well, because they're still doing it. They're still benefiting off of the prison system and exploiting black labor. They're still benefiting off of the opportunities awarded to them by black disadvantagement, and all of that was created by the struggle of our ancestors. So basically, when it comes to reparations, the whole analogy is to get people to understand that reparations isn't a thing of the past. And us not getting back what was stolen from us now, is basically us saying, well, hey, like you said, we give up. You know, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to start over again, only for it to get taken again and to participate in the cycle. Now, when I talked about if you were willing to do anything to get your stuff back, I was speaking of revolution, because the only way we're going to get back what is ours is if we take it back. And it's never legal to defend yourself as an African person. The law is never on your side, because the law is designed to keep us from getting our reparations and from getting our revolution. Because if we do, then they don't have anything. So that's how it is. We have to understand that we live in a society where there is no justice for us unless we take it, and we have to be willing to deal with the consequences that may come with that. But with that being said, is there any questions or any comments, anything you guys want to add to it from then and there? Has your mind changed since you found out that it's been white people this whole time as this mysterious other family?
Oh shit.
What's your
Hell yeah, my mind changed. I would come in there with guns and some more shit put up. It's like, no, my mind hasn't changed. I figured it was white people. Don't lie.
She said that sounds like some white people stuff.
Like some white people All right, well, I have to go.
All right, well, I really thank you guys for participating in this. Enjoy the rest of your 4th. All right, we're rolling. Would you guys care to introduce yourselves?
We're the Canals.
The Canals? Okay, enjoying your nice 4th of July weekend? Waiting for some fireworks?
We got a pretty good setup right here. Right across.
Is that where it goes? It goes down right here? This is what, 2 generations of family? So I'm going to take it back one more extra generation, just in case you guys want to feel more connected to the situation. Basically, your 4th great-grandfather worked his whole life, fingers to the bone, overnight shifts, all that kind of stuff to build up a legacy. He bought 30 acres of land, and he saved up 4 generations ago. What's a lot of money for 4 generations ago?
Couple thousand.
We'll say about $15,000. He worked his whole life, saved up about $15,000, and just before he died and was able to pass it on to your 3rd great-grandfather, someone came and stole the deeds, forged their signature on it, and stole all his money. The whole stash, the whole safe, everything. So then the guy who stole from him ended up having a son and gave everything to his son. Like, you know, what you do, you pass your stuff on down to your family generations. But your 3rd great-grandfather had to start from scratch. These people know each other. So your 3rd great-grandfather goes up to the son and is like, hey, you know, your dad kind of stole all this stuff from my dad that was supposed to be mine. Do you mind returning my things? And he's like, you know what? I didn't take it from you, so I'm probably not going to give it back to you. So then your 3rd great-grandfather has to start from scratch all over again. He goes and he builds up a legacy, does the same thing. And just before he's able to pass it on, the guy who inherited his inheritance goes and robs him. Takes everything all over again, completely gets everything, got the house to not pass some inspection because he knew a guy, so the house goes into foreclosure or whatever, and now he went and bought the house at a cheaper rate, and then so now he's renting the house back to your 3rd great-grandfather, but it was his house in the first place, and he went and did some things to undercut it to legally steal it from you. So now your great-grandfather was supposed to inherit this legacy that was stolen by the guy who had reaped the benefits of what was stolen from his grandfather. So now this family, they're about 3 generations in now of a stolen legacy. They've got money now. They're very established. They have their house in the Hamptons, and they're doing their thing with your legacy. And then so your great-grandfather goes up to him like, hey, you guys stole all that stuff from us. My family needs it back. And they're like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to give it to you. So you tell them, like, you know what, okay, I'm going to sue you then. You take them to the courts. You spend years paying money for legal defense and all that kind of stuff to get your stuff back. And the courts say, well, you know what, you kind of just got robbed. I don't know what to tell you. They did it legally, so, you know, I can't do nothing about it. So now your great-grandfather is sitting here looking at their fourth or third generation down. Like, you guys, everything you have is ours. You guys have to keep starting from scratch as a family, so you are always struggling because you're starting from nothing each time. And you're looking at this family like, I'm not supposed to be living like this because everything that was supposed to be mine is stolen. So it keeps happening for generations, and now it's down to you. Your father, are you her father or his father? Oh, brother and sister. Oh, okay. Okay, I see how this happened. Okay. You look more like your mom, you look more like your dad. Got it. Well, basically, it's your turn. You know, it's your turn. You want to build a legacy, but you're worried that they're going to rob it from you before you can pass it down to these guys. But also, you're upset because, you know, it was a struggle trying to, you know, have a family, raise the kids and whatnot, because everything that you had, well, that was supposed to be yours, has been stolen. And on top of that, you have to consistently watch this other family thrive, be rich, flourish, and do their own thing. No problems. The law's protecting them, all of that, with what is yours. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be too happy about that. So this is where I start asking you guys questions based off of the analogy. If you'll give me 1 second. The first question is, do you think that the other family is wrong for stealing from you guys all this time?
So, for me personally, you can't worry too much about that other family. What they do is theirs, and you just got to work with what you're given. So even though it's a tragedy, even though you've lost everything, the fact that you've been able to build it up every generation, that's something to be proud of.
Even if it keeps getting stolen every generation.
If it gets stolen.
I think I'd move.
Well, you think you move? Well, what about you guys have tried unconventional, you know, methods outside of the law to get your stuff back, and then you just end up in jail. And so you try doing it the legal way, you don't get justice. You try doing it the illegal way, you still don't get justice. I think it'd be very easy to give up hope at some point. But that goes to.
I like to move away from that bad family.
Well, do you think that family should pay you guys back what they stole from you?
I mean, if there was a way, it would be great. But since that's not happening, might as well just work with what you got.
Okay. So would you just give? It sounds like you give up fighting for what's yours.
Yeah, I figure if they get away with it.
Fight within the law. You don't do what's against the law because that puts you in the law. So as long as you stay within the law, you've done all that you can, and then you move forward with your family. And like I say, I'd probably move from that area since it's got such a bad history, you know, of people stealing from the family and no redress. And if they continue to steal, I think I'd find a different place. But I'd stay within the law because that puts me in the right, and then before God and before man, I've done what I'm supposed to do.
Even if the law continuously fails you.
Even if the law continuously fails.
Okay, well, that kind of answers my next question. If you had the opportunity to take it back outside of the law, or in unconventional methods, like how they went through Wall Street and stuff to steal from you guys, you could go through undercut methods to take back what's yours from them. Would you do it? No.
What your grandparents have done this whole time is build your name. It doesn't matter if you've lost it all, but you have a good name. And they've earned that every generation. So if you choose to do something outside of the law, you just ruin that name that they've built over 4 generations. That's more valuable than any of the wealth you can get back.
Okay, so what about if you guys were members of that other family? Would you give your stuff back to the family you guys have been stealing from? If you were members of the other family, would you give your stuff back to people you've been stealing from?
I think if it was, that's kind of a question as to if I had purchased it from somebody.
Well, you inherited it.
You inherited it.
You everything you inherited was stolen, but would you give it back, even though you know it's stolen? You know it's stolen. You know how you got your family wealth. You know how you got the legacy. You know it's not yours.
I'd like to hope that I would.
But there is Ivers over
Can't
there.
say for sure because around the circumstances, but I would assume that if I knew it was stolen and I knew who to give it back to, then I'd bring it back.
Alrighty, give me 1 second. Okay, so basically, this is the part where I do the big reveal to what the analogy was. And are you guys ready? You sure you're ready? Well, the analogy was basically for African people and reparations in America. A lot of people feel like African people do not deserve reparations, or that, you know, it's like an oh well situation, kind of like, you know, how you said. But there's also a lot of people who feel like they are different from their counterparts who are more flamboyant or more, what's the word? Less, just more out there with their opinions when it comes to African peoples in America. So basically what had happened was I was working with a coworker, and he was telling me, we were having a casual conversation. I clean apartments, and we were cleaning out washing machines. And he said, yeah, I don't want to live past the mountains anymore. I said, well, why don't you want to live past the mountains? I'm thinking that's an odd question, or that's an odd thing to throw out there. You know, we're sitting here having a casual conversation. You don't want to live past the mountains. I like the mountains. I think they're beautiful. I like nature a lot. So basically, he said that he didn't want to live past the mountains because there's a lot of racists and bigots and homophobia. And I thought that was interesting because a lot of the times that I find a lot of Europeans who find that because they're not outward about, you know, their opinions and whatnot, that they're somehow a level above the ones who are. And the reason why I gave him the same analogy, but I didn't reveal to him what the analogy was for, because I wanted to see if really you were that much better. So my question, or my idea was, or my hypothesis was that a lot of Europeans who don't consider themselves like actively racist, or, you know, they don't consider themselves, you know, in the wrong toward African people, allow the more, it's a lot of noise, allow the more flamboyant, allow the more vocal ones to take the heat while they continue to reap the benefits. So it's kind of like a passive racism. So now my question to you guys is, if you had the opportunity to help right the wrongs, would you? Well, basically there is a Uhuru Solidarity movement, which is, excuse me, I'm working on a documentary. And I'm sorry. Thank you. There's a Uhuru Solidarity movement. Basically, the Uhuru movement is an organization for African people going on. It's based in South Florida, but it's located all across America. And the Solidarity movement is for Europeans who want to actually genuinely help restore or fix the wrongs that were made against African people. So you can join their cause, you can join their website, and they have availabilities for you to actually pay reparations towards African people, and it tells you on the website what the money goes to. And again, this is run by Europeans for Europeans to right the wrongs that were done against African people. So if I could give you guys the information, would you guys actually take it and consider helping to right the wrongs of your ancestors, even though you are benefiting from it today?
Well, I don't think, trying to think back on where we were, you know, we were driven out of areas where we were too. And so we're part of a history also of being driven from homes.
But that history about you guys being driven from homes was between you guys. That had nothing to do with African people. Well, basically, I have their website written down right here. And if you want to take it down, it's very simple. You know, clearly, I don't expect anybody to want to give up their entire everything, even though my existence has been very difficult based off of the comfort of your existence. But if anything, I do find it more easy to I guess, sleep at night knowing that there are some out there that actually want to do something for real. And the best way to help African people is to return basically what was stolen from them. So it's
we've been doing quite a bit. I just got back from Africa yesterday, Sunday night.
Well,
yeah, we were just building it.
A lot of the times the things that we think are helpful are actually more harmful than good. For example,
I speak the language. I lived there for a while.
I never had that luxury.
Yeah, we were able to work with the people and kind of find out what they needed. It's pretty neat.
I wish, you know, and being an African in America, yes, I do think that things need to be done because colonization is still much so alive and well in Africa as well. But me being an African here, where I don't have the luxury of knowing my language or going to the continent and things like that, but you guys do, based off of the oppression of me here. I mean, that's cool for over there, but what about us here, which is what this is about. I don't know if you can, oops, sorry. if the cursive is too much, it's Uhuru Solidarity.org. Yeah, UHR. UHURU. Yes, Solidarity. The S is for Solidarity.org. And if you, well, I did a DNA test to find out, because otherwise I wouldn't have known. And I'm Congolese, Ghanaian, and Nigerian. Yeah, I think so. I mean, now that I know, but I know so many people that don't know. Most of us don't know, you know? And so I'm trying. I have to start from scratch. I mean, the language is literally being out of my ancestors, so I got to figure out how to learn 3 languages from the bottom up. I mean, I speak... Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple like humanitarian groups that go on and like they'll sponsor you to go back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find them because I want to go. You know, I want the luxury because there was a band that was playing and it was a European, quote unquote, South African, and I'm like, he's up there celebrating the culture of, you know, wearing the clothes, all that kind of stuff. But me and most of us walking around here have no clue and don't have that opportunity and luxury, which kind of goes into the whole culture appropriation thing and whatnot. But I do thank you guys for your time. If you want to add any more comments or anything to the video.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time to tell us and giving us the website.
Oh, thank you. And thank you guys for participating.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sadia.
Sadia? Who?
Frederick Cooper.
Okay.
Abene.
Same print.
Alrighty guys, I'm gonna need you to speak up a little louder so that this can hear you because I don't have a mic connected to it. So, well, let's scoot over out the way a little bit. Alright, the analogy goes like this. Your great-great-grandfather worked his entire life for a legacy. He took graveyard shifts, all of that, worked his behind to the bone just to buy 30 acres of land and to save up $15,000, which was a lot a couple generations ago. And just before he can pass it down to your great-grandfather, some dude comes up and robs the deeds, forges his name on them, and robs him for all of his money. All of it. Then, you know, your great-grandfather goes up to the dude's son, because of course he passed it down to his son. It's like, hey, everything that you have was supposed to be mine. My dad left it to me, but you guys stole it, you know, from me. Let me have my stuff back. Oh boy, it's like, you know what? My dad took it from you. I didn't take it from you. I'm not gonna give it back to you. So then you're like, okay, you're not gonna give me my stuff back. I'm gonna take you to court. Take it to court. The court's like, you know what? The guy who stole from you wins.
He has the deed.
So that's true, but in this system, exactly. So then you're like, okay, I went to court, or your great-grandfather's like, I went to court. They didn't help me out. I'm gonna start from scratch. So your great-grandfather, he starts from scratch, and he builds his own legacy again. Okay. He builds his own legacy again, and when he builds his legacy, the guy who inherited his legacy, he goes and steals it from him. So now the same thing that just happened a generation ago is happening again, and he passes down to his son. And now your grandfather is sitting here. He has to start off struggling because everything that his dad had provided for him got stolen before he could benefit from it, right? So then your grandfather's like, you know what, this is a problem. I'm not just gonna sit here and be robbed. I'm gonna take you to court again. Take him to court, lose. All right, the law's not gonna help me. I'm gonna go rob these people. I'm gonna get my partners together. We're gonna hit a lick. We're gonna get my stuff back. You end up in jail. Turns out this family had invested some of the money they stole from you in the prison system. So you being in jail means that you just made them more money. So they win when you lose in court, and they win when you take it into your own hands as well. Basically where we left off, your grandfather tried to get his stuff back. He tried to rob his stuff back, and they put him in jail. But him being in jail, the jail had money invested in it by the people who he was. I don't know if you're paying attention or not. Your grandfather tried to steal his stuff back, and the people he stole it from have money in the prison system. So he ended up going to jail and still making the money by being in jail. So now you're down to your father. Your father's like, man, I want to build a legacy to leave to you guys, but I can't do that. I don't want to do that and get everything stolen before you guys can benefit from it. Then, so your father's sitting here, he's worried, I want to leave something to my kids, but I'm worried that it's going to get stolen from us. And at the same time, we're struggling. You know, we have to start from scratch. It's a hard knock life because I have to watch these people, this family that stole from me. I got to watch them living it up. Now they have, you know, like a couple $1 million net worth and businesses and whatnot. Every time you go to the grocery store, it's the grocery store they bought in your neighborhood with your money. Now you have to pay them to get groceries. You know, they purchased apartment houses in your neighborhood that was supposed to be yours, so now you have to pay them rent. You know, they might give you Section 8, but you're still paying them rent to apartments that's supposed to be yours, right? So now it's up to you guys. So your whole family legacy has been stolen from you guys for generations. And it's up to you to get your legacy back. The first question is, do you think that family is wrong from stealing for you guys all them generations?
Yes.
I mean, you get it how you get it. Like, if I was able to steal something, like someone's like $1 million like network, I would. To be honest.
I think that's a success, no matter how you find it, but still morally that's wrong.
I think that was so wrong. Like, he worked really hard for it, and then in the end, somebody stole it.
Every generation, though. It's not
every
just
generation. It's not just him. It's just they're like, oh, we're gonna do it again. It's like repetitive, you know.
They should probably get like a lawyer or something.
But they tried it.
They tried it.
And the paper, like they shouldn't let people like steal their deeds and stuff.
Yeah, no one just lets someone steal from them. Pretty sure that, I mean, you guys, you know your family. I'm pretty sure y'all didn't just let nothing happen. I'm pretty sure you fought for it, tried. You didn't expect to get robbed. You didn't want to get robbed. You're not just gonna sit there and get robbed. But
things happen.
Okay, do you think that family should pay back? And now it's your generation and it's on your shoulders, and you're looking at your generation on their family. Do you think that generation should pay you back everything that they owe?
Hell yeah. No, wait. You're right. Yes, they should. But they should be parted. They should part of the system.
They should pay interest.
I wouldn't say every penny. I would say like, yo, here's like 10%.
No.
There's some money.
No. They should pay money and interest because somebody of my family got put in prison. Now they have a record.
Can't get a job. Gotta pay back the prison.
Exactly. My family's been through all this crap,
And
so you
also,
can sit on a pedestal and sip from a golden spoon. Like no.
I think. Wait, hold on. That question's coming though. And also with that, you said with interest. Well, that family did go develop more wealth off the wealth that's stolen.
So you better
that
pay the
interest.
That's
right. That interest is.
They build businesses off of what the other family made. You know, they stole their money. They made business off of their money. They invested with their money.
Like everything you're good for is basically mine.
That's why I was about to say the amount you have. If they would have paid attention to this is what my generation would do. The amount that was stolen. You record back in history how much that amount was worth in your time period, and you take that amount, you ask for that amount plus the years that it was absent out of your family's name. That you should receive.
Okay. Would you guys continue to fight for what's yours in your family, even though your dad's ready to give up? Would you?
No.
Yes.
I'm getting my money back. I would have had my money back by now.
What do you mean by fight?
If we tried like 3 generations and it all failed, I'd move.
No, I would have had my money back.
So,
but you can't move because they have networking everywhere, and everywhere you go, there's their family.
I would have had my money back by now. Why? Because I'm going back to history, traits, and everything to show the deed was in my name and it was stolen illegally, and they need to get back.
But the law clearly didn't help you the first, second, or third time.
Okay, then we're gonna find a way to get past the law.
We're going back generations. You know, generations. Times have changed. Technology has improved. Everything has. There's people that actually push for social justice, that push for everything. Like, there's people in this generation that will help other people, you know what I'm trying to say?
But my thing is, with the system, the point of the matter is, the system doesn't have your back no matter what you do. You can be right.
My point is, if you can't beat them, quit. Like, don't try. Just quit.
You said your part. Let her talk. Turn around. Don't say that. Talk.
The system is flawed, but I know there's people in the system that will help you either regardless. I know there's people in the system that will take their time to be like, okay, this could have happened, this did happen, now I'm gonna help you out. Like, there's people that have.
So you have faith in the system still? You still think that the system is gonna serve you justice?
No,
I'm saying there's people that work.
I would just try to make my own career.
I'm just saying that there's people that
I
that
thought
work
Filipino.
against the system. There's people that are in there that will help you regardless.
Okay, so my next question is, if you had the means to, if you had the opportunity to take your stuff back outside the law, or by alternative means, would you?
Finessing?
Okay, but wait.
Let's go.
Hold on.
Bro, look, the thing is, they got caught up.
I want to hear her
Wait. Would I be like, is it 100% that I'm not about to get caught? Or is there still that chance that I'm going to get caught for fraud?
It's up to you. I don't know.
Like in
It
scenario.
depends on the faith you have in yourself and whether or not you feel like you're able to
do it right.
You know,
I do it right. Look, I plan out like, I'm like, all right, they leave at this time. They're gonna be houses empty at this time. Security system code is this. Da 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 da.
They're not finding him. They're not finding his car.
Take the deeds.
We're going to Baltimore style.
Social security numbers. I'm taking credit
She's looking at
cards.
me like you're crazy.
Finding safes, jewelry boxes.
Oh no, I'm not talking about robbery. We're not talking about robbery. First step I'm gonna
White
take is
collar
the legal
robbery.
step. I'm gonna take it's out of the law.
That didn't work.
No.
It didn't work for generations.
Hold on, babe. I'm becoming a lawyer when I get over this shit right here. Forget the law. Forget everything right now. Now you're talking about systems of communication between two different families to earn a trust that has been taken from one person. So this is when you find your evidence. You back up you can't just go in there, oh, that money was mine and you stole it. You have to go in there with the proof that there was a deed within your family. Your great-great-grandfather.
What about the cash that was stolen?
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, what about the cash? These were stolen and cash was stolen for generations.
I know.
If I had the chance to
I know, that's why I'm not done
Didn't
yet.
even go out to
That's why I'm
work
not done
history
yet.
and everything.
Yeah, but they didn't have work history like that.
Your
a couple
grandfather had
generations
to
ago.
record it somewhere how much he made. That had to be
The
recorded
safe,
somewhere.
the safe that he had it in that was stolen.
Okay, that was that, but he had to even with the deed and the money itself, he had to record it somewhere to a record showing this is how much I am. Or you can go back to show how he made that money. Show back how he made that money and come up to the sum of how much it came all together. When you have all that, go back, show the income that he made, and give the proof that this was my money that was illegally stolen from me. Give that. If that don't work, you gotta go out. We gotta get it, man. You got shit. Hood rules for all I can. Go back.
Okay, my next question. Do you think that they let you just because, you know, they gave you an EBT card to shop at their grocery stores, is that enough for payback for what they stole from you?
No.
All right, see.
No, EBT is given to everybody. Just because you stole the money to me, you're doing the same thing to everybody else. Like you're giving special handouts to everybody else, not just me. I don't feel special at all. Everybody has EBT. Like every
So like 4 generations didn't get their stuff back. At this point, I'm quitting. Like, I'm like,
So you're not even gonna build anything, and then your kids are gonna grow up with nothing to build
I'm
off
just trying
of.
to get my own career. Like it's not like I'm really trying to like build everything up that they had, but like
But not even-
just,
it's about-
trying to like make my life as best as I can be.
But when you're trying to pass your life on to
Whatever
your
I have.
kids, you can't do it because they're gonna rob you again.
I don't like kids. I'm gonna try not to have kids. My best. I really hate children. They're kind of weird. Like they smell weird. And they don't do nothing. I hate kids. I don't like children.
All right, wait, that's not the point of the question. Answer the
She just
question.
said
what I would do is, well, your question is, would you try to build up
Another legacy.
Huh? So what I would do, you know, I love kids. I want something for my kids. Even though there's people that are trying to prevent me from moving up in life, it's either way. I'm gonna work for it. I may not be able to have to buy land or anything, but I'll save my money in a personal way, like
In hair.
Huh?
In hair.
In hair.
Yeah. You're saving your money in Jordans. You'll have a whole Jordan collection to pass down to your kids.
No, I'd probably like keep my money somewhere with myself. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I keep it in a shoebox or something. Like I keep my money. I wouldn't put it in the bank or nothing.
Sorry to interrupt you. I got a question.
Yeah.
This family, how much have they worth grown?
Oh, right now
It's over the whole
they're
country?
huh?
It's over the whole country.
Oh yeah, because you know families
If it's over the whole
grow.
country,
They got connections.
all right, forget their connections. My father's in jail. It's the name that was written on my side. Forget that. Make your own legacy. Start now. Educate yourself to benefit yourself. And to support your family and yourself. And rebuild your wealth back.
When you rebuild
Plus
it back,
more.
they could steal
Build
it
your
from you again.
connections. No, they can't. Why? Because now it's a current day system, and I will make sure I take every step beneficial to protect my worth and everything that I've earned.
Okay, so you have a sister. Your sister goes and falls for some boy in the other family. Would you leave her name in the deed even though she's trying to marry somebody in this family that's been
That's
robbing
a
you guys?
Romeo and Juliet situation right there.
Second time I heard that.
What you gotta do is, straight up, it's my sister. That's family. I'm Liberian. I'm from Africa, so I was raised families first. I'll do what I gotta do.
But is your sister
She's gonna be set anyway.
Is your sister doing family first when she goes
She's
and
following
falls
her
with
heart,
you?
man. Like, love.
Do you think she
could
could love somebody who's been like robbing you guys? Can you trust somebody, let alone love somebody who's been screwing your family over for generations?
Me and her made a bet. Get over here. Answer this question.
Would you say your sister decides to go and date someone and potentially marry someone from this other family? Do you think that she'd even be able to trust someone, let alone love somebody who's been doing your family dirty for generations?
I'm gonna answer first.
I have 2 points in that.
I'm gonna answer first.
Okay, answer first.
Quickly, because the battery's on that.
Alright, hey, let her follow her heart. She wanna love that. She wanna love him, let him love him. Like, straight up. Yeah. That's my sister.
All right, to be honest, do that. Please do that. Marry him back into the family, and we'll
Marry
get this
him,
money.
inherit
What do you
it.
mean?
But that can easily go the other way, though. He could just find another way to rob y'all.
I gotta tell you something now. Marry them back in the family, rob that nigga's ass, stab him, kill him.
No, this is what you gotta do. This is what you gotta do. You gotta marry him. You gotta have his kids. Child support. And get all that
She's
money.
black.
Child support. Don't
ratchet.
buy nobody's prenup.
That's ratchet.
Nothing. That's how
Okay.
you get it. That's how you get money back.
Well, basically, I want to reveal what the whole analogy was for, but the whole analogy was for African people and reparations. Basically, there was a couple points that you guys brought up, like when you mentioned the EBT and how it's given to everybody. Well, a lot of people say, well, black people, they just sit there behind to collect EBT. Welfare benefits benefit white women more than anybody.
Right.
Black people are at the bottom of that. So, I mean, you're right. They try and say, well, we give you guys welfare. Well, that's one, everybody gets welfare. And two, we still don't benefit from it. And then on top of that, your welfare is based off of the destruction of the black family. You can't have a black man in the house if you're going to receive government benefits, Social Security, or no, Section 8, welfare, EBT, all that kind of stuff.
Do not marry a black man, marry a white man. That's all I gotta say. Marry a white man, marry a white man.
Okay, and as far as the siblings stepping out, and let me know if this gets a little too touchy for the of you guys. A lot of people see like interracial relationships as the same thing. Like you have this family that's been robbing you guys is clearly European people that have been robbing African people for generations. So a lot of people find it hard to trust both the European people who go and make it their business to be with the African person and the offspring because they don't know where the allegiance lies. So,
my family's like that. My brother always dates white girls, and then they be like, another white girl? Like, they be getting mad, but I don't really care. If you're gonna date somebody, date somebody. Like, date whoever you want. Like, why does it really matter? That's like that gay thing. Like, I don't
what matters because just how I can explain to you guys when it came to a family legacy, at the end of the day, when everything's being stolen by certain people, and then you're given the potential to have things stolen some more, and then those other people have that, you know, that privilege in society, that standard that they get accustomed to, that's still built off of the oppression of the rest of your family. Like you being a mixed person in America, you are the voice of black people, even though you are a mixed person, which is a whole different standard in society. So everything about you is at the expense of African people. So do you see how that can be problematic to?
I can see how it would be problematic, but it could also benefit. Like, you could also see that side of the world, like, because it's all perspective, so you could see that side, and you could possibly, like, learn and, like, see how, not even learn, like, good things, but just learn how they work their way into the system and how they get connections. And,
my thing is, I'll give you a perfect example. Alicia Keys and this no makeup natural movement beauty thing. Alicia Keys is a mixed woman. Who used to have bad skin, and she used to have a more Negro-looking nose. She waited until after she got a nose job and her skin cleared up to take over this natural beauty movement. Mind you, Gabrielle Union, Keke Palmer, and Little Mama are just 3 names of black women who have been doing this long before Alicia Keys, but when they did it, they got called monkeys, put some makeup on, all that other kind of stuff, and they didn't get to become the face that Alicia got to be, and Alicia got that point of privilege based off of her being mixed and having a standard kind of beauty based off of the white side of her.
That's kind of like when people be like, oh, like they be talking about how light-skinned girls are prettier than dark-skinned girls, which is stupid on itself, but like that's because they say that their whiteness is what makes them pretty. But
it's the even though we know mentally like it's like the dumbest thing, there is still a privilege that mixed people, especially because there's light-skinned black people and then there's mixed people. My sister, we have the exact same parents. She's light-skinned, I'm clearly dark-skinned, but my sister doesn't have a voice because the voice is given to you guys. And then black women in general, we don't have any representation because it's getting represented by you guys. But if mixed people know that their privilege is awarded at the expense of African people, even though a lot of times it's their African side, they have an African side to them, they still indulge in that privilege. So the idea of using that privilege to help us, it hasn't been done, and it probably won't be done because your privilege is taken away, and now you're left in the same place as everybody else, and a lot of people want to indulge in their privilege. I just got done talking to a European family, and I said, if you had the opportunity to return what was stolen and whatnot, and I revealed to them I was talking about reparations, they said, honestly, I'd have to give it back everything that I have, and I'm not willing to do that because I don't want to have to start from scratch.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And nobody does. So it's understandable that people don't want to do it, but at the same time, it's still wrong. So based off of everything, you know, African people, and the reason why I did this documentary is to get young people, especially young African people, to think about the fact that, because a lot of Black people are just like your friend in the blue and white shirt, I give up, you know? And there's even some who are like, well, why should, you know, a random white person today pay me for what their ancestors did, because they're still benefiting from what they stole from you. And that's why I use this analogy to break down the fact that it's not just a thing of the past, it's every day, it's reoccurring. So based off of all of that, do you have any comments or anything that you'd like to share before we end the interview?
Just that, like, I don't know, privilege, I feel like, is always just going to be a part of our world. Like, somebody is going to be the underdog and somebody's going to be higher up. It's not right, but it's just going to happen, and you have to make with what you have. And some people don't have a lot. I don't have a lot. My mom and me it's just us, and we're broke, and we don't have nothing. We just eat EBT and all that stuff, but you just have to work with what you have.
Alrighty, well, I thank you for your candor, and I thank you for participating in the interview. Kind of wish everybody stayed to the end, but you know, that's that. Thank you.
Sorry we left her. She has all the best answers, so we just left her.
I wanted a variety of answers. I wanted versatile answers. There is no best answer. But before I close, do you guys have anything you want to add before I leave?
Hey, if they stole that, and you got to find a way to get it back, either you engage and migrate yourself within the family by using your sister. Hey, it's using someone, but you gotta do what you gotta do to succeed, man. You gotta do what's best for your family. You gotta do what's best. Still keep your morals, because morals are important, but
just pimp your sister out. You keep your morals, but you pimp your sister out.
No, not even pimp her. If you really just suck emotionally to use her, do what you gotta do through yourself.
All right. Okay, we are now recording.
Okay.
So basically, hold on, let me focus this first. I'm still getting used to it.
It's all right.
Basically, what we're going to do is this. I'm going to start off with the analogy from, I'll say about 3 generations back.
Okay.
Your great-great-grandfather, yeah, that's 3 generations back, right? Great-great? Yep. Your great-great-grandfather worked his entire life to build a legacy. His entire life worked over-hour shifts, all that kind of stuff, so that he can purchase about 3 acres of land and save about $15,000, which, you know, was a lot 3-4 generations ago. So he worked his entire life. Can you step this way just a little bit? There we go. Worked his entire life, and just before he passed away and was able to pass it on to your great-great-grandfather, someone came and stole everything, stole all the money, stole the deeds, forged their names on the deeds. So now, technically, legally, everything belongs to this other person who stole it.
Okay.
Your great-great-great-grandfather was going to pass it down to your great-great-grandfather, but, you know, it was stolen, so you kind of can't pass it down. So your great-great-grandfather is like, hey, you know, he sees the son of the guy who stole from his dad, and he's like, yo, everything that you have was supposed to be mine. Can I have my stuff back? And the guy's like, you know what? I didn't take it from you, so I don't think I'm going to give it back to you. Okay. So he's like, okay, well, then I'm going to take you to court. Takes him to court. The judge says, hey, his names are on the deeds, and, you know, you have no, like, paper trail for the money, so I can't help you. So then he's like, okay, well, I give up. I'm going to start from scratch. Your great-great-grandfather goes and does the same thing that his dad did. Works so hard, tries to build a legacy to pass down to his kids, and just before he's able to pass it down, the guy who he confronted about getting his stuff back goes and robs him again. And they do it, you know, very legally and technically and whatnot, to where when he tries to take him to court, you know, he loses again, and now his kids don't have a legacy. So he's like, okay, well, you know what, I don't know what to do. I'm throwing my hands up. I just got robbed again. Now that other family, they're sitting on 2 generations of your wealth now. So then your great-grandfather is like, you know what, I'm tired of getting robbed. I don't want my legacy to be robbed. So he builds it up the best he can. He opens up a credit union and everything so that his family money can go there. But this other family goes through like Wall Street and buys them out of their own credit union. And now every time that bank makes money, the other family is making money off of their money being in there. And just before your great-grandfather passes away, he tries to pass it down to your grandfather, but it turns out he can't because he technically doesn't own the credit union. The guys who have been robbing you this whole time, their family owns the credit union now. So your grandfather's like, you know what? He goes up to him, hey, you know what? I want my stuff back. That's supposed to be in our family. That's supposed to, well, you know, we shouldn't be having to struggle like this because we're the ones who put in all the work for the generations. And so they're like, well, if you don't like it, sue me. Knowing that when they go to the courts, which they did again, they weren't going to get any legal help. So your grandfather's like, you know what? I'm going to take back what's mine. Ends up getting thrown in jail. But the people who have been robbing the family the whole time and getting away with it, they have investments in the prison system. So your grandfather going to jail basically is making them more money. So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. So now it's up to your dad, and your dad has worked his whole life, and he's about ready to want to pass on his legacy to his children, but he's just hoping that it doesn't get robbed again. And then at the same time, he's like, if we get robbed, what are we going to do? Because he doesn't want to have you not benefit from what was supposed to be yours for generations. So now it's down to you and your dad's fed up with it. And of course, you are growing up side by side this other family. You see them all the time. They use their wealth to build their economics. So now they have grocery stores that you have to shop at. You know, the apartment or the housing and stuff that you have, that you were supposed to have, is now theirs. So you're living underneath, technically, their roof. You pay your mortgage to them. You know, so everything that is supposed to be yours is theirs, and you have to pay into them keeping it up. My first question is, do you think that the second family is wrong for stealing from you?
So the second family...
That's the family that's been robbing you for generations.
Okay. So they've been robbing me for generations. But then the second family was given to them by their family, right?
Yeah, but each generation they also robbed you too. So
Okay,
it was passed down and re-robbed. Okay, do you think that they should pay back what they stole from your family?
Yes.
For every generation?
If their generation is stolen, they should give back. So it would go back to the top guy who stole first.
You go all the way back to the top guy who stole first. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it does. Okay, would you give up fighting for your legacy?
Yeah.
Even though the law's not helping you and vigilantism isn't helping you?
You can't give up.
Can't give up.
No.
I like that answer. If you had the opportunity to take it back outside of the law, and I know law enforcement and whatnot, would you personally do so?
Depends on what day and age. I mean, you go back 4 generations, laws were different back then. I mean, it was common law, like, you know, one family to another versus like the laws that we have today. In today's generation, I would say no. Back then, 4 or 5 generations ago, I would say it'd be more acceptable.
That I haven't heard that, because that's a new answer.
All right.
And I think
I
that's
hope it's
good
not
material.
terrible.
It's not. It's not. If you were members of that other family that's been robbing your family for generations, would you give back everything?
Yeah, you should. If they have a good conscience, they should.
Even if that means that everything that you own, you have to give to someone else, you have to completely start from scratch?
Well, you could probably try to work out some sort of compromise. You can say, hey, you know, I understand my family and my heritage has been stealing from yours. Let me give you what I got here to make it to where both sides can be profitable. And
even though your side, because now you're on the family side that's been stealing the whole time.
Yeah.
Even though your side didn't work for anything, you still want to split the profits?
I wouldn't say split it, but I'd say you definitely have to make sure that they are compensated somehow. You can't just say, no, you got nothing, guys. But at the same time, you still have to be able to provide for your family. So I would say give back more than what's, I mean, just to have enough to survive
60-40?
Yeah, all right.
60-40.
That'll work, sure.
Do it, let's cut it 60-40.
All right.
So you'd rather give them back some of what's theirs, so that you don't have to start from scratch, and rather give them back all of what's theirs, and you starting off just like their ancestors did.
Yeah.
You know what? It's honest and it's understandable. It makes complete sense. Well, basically, this is the part where I tell you what the analogy was about. The analogy was about African people and reparations in America. Clearly, the family that's been getting robbed for generations would have to be my people, my family, my African people. And the family that has been robbing us for generations and all the way up to present day happens to be European people in America. With that being said, as law enforcement, your job is to make sure that we stay down so that we don't get what's ours, because anyway, once we get what's ours, then the privilege that's been awarded to society for Europeans today, all of the possessions, everything that is now awarded to Europeans based off of who they are and their place in society, is off of the disadvantagement to African people. So how do you think that affects you personally, knowing that your job was designed specifically to reinforce things that keep another group of people down?
Well, it's not good, obviously. I mean, it would be nice if there was something that made everything equal. I mean, it sucks. I know there's flaws in our laws and the way they are right now. I mean, after doing this, I've only done it for a few years, but there's definitely flaws in it. And I know it takes more than one person to stand up for that, but I'd say it's more tragic. It's probably not going to change, and it's sad.
Okay, well, do you know the history behind law enforcement and how it was originally created?
Peacekeepers, peace officers.
Well, not from our narrative. It was originally slave patrols. The original police officers were slave patrols. Their jobs were to round up slaves, return them to their masters, and perform organized terror. And then post-slavery...
The police department actually was in Europe, right?
Well, constructed what it is now.
Form of
I'm talking about the original American form of policing.
Okay.
How it started in America. Because, you know, you guys still had sheriffs and jail and stuff, but as far as the duties of a police officer and their very original purpose of them, it was to return slaves to their masters, perform organized terror, and to keep slaves in line, basically. Post-slavery, we were no longer individual people's private property, but emancipation actually means transfer of ownership, and we were made legally slaves once we entered the prison system. So now, all the way up until today, your job has been the exact same thing, but instead of returning us to individual plantations, we're getting returned to prisons. Even though the laws that have been made, especially over the past, I'd say, 60 years or so, have been designed specifically so that the African people can get in trouble.
I don't think they're biased like that.
You don't think that,
no,
well...
If a guy steals a car, it doesn't matter what color he is.
But the sentence that he gets, it does matter what color he is.
Police officer, that's not up to us. So as a police officer, we recognize the violation has occurred. We arrest, they go to jail, or however form, whether it be a ticket or jail. So they meet with the court, and the court decides the sentencing. So as a low-level guy, I'm not in charge of sentencing. I don't say, oh, this guy needs 6 years or 5 years. I just say, hey, he violated the law, and I have probable cause to believe that happened. So whether Bob stole a car or Jenny stole a car or whatever race or anything like that, that's all up to the judge. So.
What about the fact that where policing is strategically placed and the proven bias that police officers have against suspecting minorities, especially African people, over Europeans?
So we have, in Renton, we have assigned districts. So we have one officer per district. It doesn't matter if there's a white neighborhood or a black neighborhood. There's not 3 officers in this one and 1 in that. We got 1 officer per district. So I don't know exactly like where you're talking about policing, but here in Renton, it's not that way.
That's very interesting. So do you think that even though there is a police officer in every district, the way that officers go about their duties in that district, it could be biased based off of the...
It definitely could be.
Well, you as a European person, officer badge and stuff aside, as a European, if you had the opportunity to help right the wrongs that were done to African people, would you take it?
Sure.
Well, basically, there is a Uhuru solidarity movement. The Uhuru movement is a revolutionary movement by African people, and the Uhuru solidarity movement is Europeans who truly do want to help support and right the wrongs that was done to African people. So uhurusolidarity.org is where Europeans can go to either A, join a team.
So if you want to see how the Renton Police Department does it, and like, I'm not saying like I don't know where you get your info on us being biased and things like that as officers and white officers and black officers and stuff, but you can go on a ride-along and you can see how we operate day to day.
Ride-alongs like here in Washington?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm from California, and I'm actually moving back to California in a couple of weeks, but
you can set it up in a day.
Okay.
Just call City Hall, say you want to go on a ride-along, and you can bring your stuff, bring your notepad, and you can roll with us.
What about the possibility of everyday routines being altered based off of my presence?
It's possible. I would say anything's possible, but I have people ride with me all the time, and we just go about day to day.
Okie dokie. Well, the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, if you are thinking about returning what was stolen, is... in fact, we can end it. can you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Diane Moreland. I'm Tim Renee Taylor's grandmother, and these beautiful young people are visiting in my home. And I'm going to be a part of this documentary.
Okay, so basically, I'm just going to keep it real simple. I'm going to tell you the analogy, and I'm going to ask you about 7, questions based off of, and whatever discussion generates after that is more than welcome as well. So basically, your great-great-great-great-grandfather worked his entire life. Before he died, worked his fingers to the bone. Before he died, he saved up about $10,000 and got about 4 or 5 acres of land. And just before he was able to pass it down to your 3rd great-grandfather, someone comes and steals the deeds to the land, forges their name on it, and steals all the money from their little safe in their shack or whatever. That man goes and passes everything down to his son before he dies. So the son that your 5th great-grandfather was going to pass everything down to has to start from scratch. He goes and he runs into the guy who inherited his legacy and is like, hey, all of that was stolen from my father that's supposed to be mine. Can you give me my stuff back? And the guy's like, you know what? I didn't steal it from you. I don't have to give it back to you. So then the guy goes and starts from scratch, builds up his legacy. Again, the guy who inherited his legacy goes and steals his legacy that he created for his son, your 3rd great-grandfather, right before he dies. Again. So your 3rd great-grandfather sees that guy's kid and is like, hey, you have 2 generations of stolen legacy. That stuff is supposed to be mine. I want my stuff back. I shouldn't have to struggle and go through all this to build a legacy when I was supposed to inherit 2 generations worth of a legacy. The other guy's like, well, I didn't take, the last 2 generations of the legacy. I don't have to give it back to you, and it is what it is. So your 3rd great-grandfather is like, you know what? I'm going to take you to court. Tries to take him to court, and the court's like, hey, you know what? There's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing we will do about it. So he's like, okay, well, I tried, so I just guess I have to start from scratch. So your 3rd great-grandfather goes and builds up a legacy again to pass down to your great-great-grandfather. And the son of this other family again goes and steals everything after inheriting the past 3 generations of wealth as well. So now they're economic based. They have stores up, they own property, they basically own the neighborhood that your family was supposed to have inherited, starting with that 3 acres that your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather purchased and whatnot, while you guys are still starting from scratch. So now it's to the point where when you go to the grocery store, they own the grocery store. The houses that you pay your mortgage on, that you pay your rent on, are owned by them because they had bought more land with your legacy off of the land that they had stolen in the first place. So now you're becoming dependent on them for everyday survival things while you're still trying to build your own legacy. So now your great-great-grandfather is born with no legacy, has to start from scratch again, and he goes to the guy who is also their 3rd great or whatever, and he's like, hey, you've stolen everything. All of this is supposed to be ours. I want my inheritance. And then the other guy's like, hey, I didn't steal it from you. I don't know what to tell you. So he goes and takes him to court again. This is the 2nd time in 4 generations you guys went to court, and the courts say, we can't help you. So then he's like, okay, you know what, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. And so he goes and tries to steal his stuff back, and he ends up thrown in jail. That family that's been stealing from you guys this whole time has money invested in the prison system, so when he went to jail, he ended up making them more money. So now your great-grandfather was born and was dealing with the same thing, and he's like, well, you know what, I'm going to open up a credit union for my family, so that way it's a lot harder to steal our money with any other ways that they've been stealing it the whole time. So then the guy who is in his generation goes through Wall Street and undercuts and buys out all the shares or whatever without the father's knowledge, and just before he's ready to pass on the credit union, he can't because it technically belongs to the guy in the other family. So all your family's money has been being invested into this credit union. You guys are supposed to be profiting off of it, and just before it's passed down as a legacy, it gets stolen again right beneath your nose. So now your grandfather is dealing with the same thing, and because he doesn't want his legacy stolen, he tries not to create a legacy. So when your father is born, he doesn't have anything to inherit, and it's just like a it's just a day-to-day existence, trying to just keep the head above water instead of building something greater than themselves be passed down. But your father is like, I want something that I can pass down to my kids, and I want our inheritance back. Your father tries the courts. He tries appealing to organizations and stuff. And he even tries having like a sit down and everything with this other family. And they're like, you know what? We're not going to give you your stuff back, because at this point, if we give everything back, we'll have nothing. Excuse me. So now it's up to you. Your father wants to pass his legacy down to you, but he doesn't want it to get taken. And at the same time, you know, you're still facing the fact that someone's got to get this legacy back from these people that's been stolen for the past several generations. So this is the part where I start to ask you the questions. Move this one second. The first question is, do you think the second family is wrong for stealing from you?
The opportunity was there, and they were opportunists, and they took it, right or wrong.
Do you? Oh, go ahead. Continue.
Right or wrong. In our standpoint, yeah, it was wrong. But being the opportunist that this family is, not right or wrong. It's opportunity, and it presented itself.
Do you think they should pay back what they stole from you?
Quite natural, just like reparation.
Well, there you go. Would you give up fighting for your legacy?
No.
If you had the opportunity to take it back outside of the law or by unconventional means, would you?
If I had the opportunity, yes.
If you were members of that other family, would you give the stuff back?
No.
Would you care to elaborate a little more?
If I was the rich family, no, they wouldn't. I wouldn't. Because they're not used to being without. If they give them some back, they might be smart enough to figure out a way to get more. They're not going to have that. So keep the person down while they're down.
Makes sense. Do you think that because this family lets you shop at their stores with like an EBT card, or they give you Section 8 on the rent of the apartments that were supposed to be your family's, do you think that's enough for payback?
Never. It's never enough. No, not for what has been taken from us. And I'm looking at this family loss that has been taken from generation. I'm looking at that as our race of people.
It's very interesting you say that. Do you think, say you have a sister who wants to go marry someone in this other family that's been, you know, basically robbing and lying and, you know, being very untrustworthy to your family for years. Would you include your sister in the will?
Now, that's a double-edged question. For generations, for centuries, opposites have had kings have had their daughters marry the enemy as a power play. Now, it depends on the relationship with the sister. It might be that she can keep her eyes, you know, open and keep her ears to the ground and learn their weaknesses and learn how to get some of that back. I doubt very seriously if they would give her too much play, and I doubt very seriously if they would allow that in the first place. And how the hell would she want to marry him in the first place?
That's a common question. Very much so understood. Well, with that, you know, if the sister does marry into that family, there's a possibility of her being able to get something back, but there's also a possibility of them being able to get stuff from us again.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
And then what about the offspring? Do they what do they inherit? And then if the offspring inherits both sides, then you have a whole side of the family where the rest of the offspring, your cousins, all that kind of stuff, have nothing. You have one person who has enough, and then you have the other side of that person, their whole family has everything.
I'm pretty sure that family would not allow that to happen. And if it did, I'm sure it'll be a prenup sign.
A super duper prenup.
A super duper prenup. Nobody would get any. It would stay right where it is.
Okay.
She might get a little something for being his wife, but
what about the child?
By law, the children of this union should benefit. But I know white folks. No.
Well, it's interesting to say that because the big reveal is this other family that's been robbing you guys for generations is Europeans in this analogy. And this was an analogy for African people in reparations. The reason why I was doing this is because a lot of, especially young African people, believe that, oh, well, that was in the past, or why should Europeans today have to pay for their ancestors? Well, the answer is because they're still benefiting from it, you know, and their everyday existence is naturally built off of the disadvantagement of you being an African person in America. The patronizing, a lot of people think that integration was the answer. And Malcolm X said it best, that Martin Luther King was begging for a seat at Master's table, and real power and equality is having your own table with your own food on it.
Yes.
So when I mentioned the analogy of patronizing their stores with the EBT card, or, you know, the Section 8 housing at the apartments that were supposed to be yours, that was a reference to government assistance.
That was a bone.
Yeah, exactly. And also the main people who benefit from those things are European Americans, especially white women. So a lot of people, a lot of black people think that that's enough for us, without realizing that it's not. The reason why I came up with this analogy was to make it more personable, especially to young black people, so that they don't detach themselves from the struggle that is actually very real and connected to them, whether they like it or not.
Right, right.
So with that being said, is there anything you'd like to add or develop off of the conversation from there?
There a rich person's thinking is inbred in them from their mothers, their fathers, their grandfathers, their grandmothers, from generations down. They have a different mindset than we do. Unfortunately, I think we have that, I can't remember.
Stockholm Syndrome?
Yes, yes. We still have the bucket of crab syndrome. We still will not support each other. It's a struggle within the struggle. We're struggling. I mean, and I'm 71 years old. I can see it. I can see it in young people. I can see the people my age. If you own a black business,
this fucking system is not your friend. And understand they controlling your thoughts, cause they got a lot to win. Niggas get turned away when I mention this. Ignorance is bliss, but I don't give a fuck. I don't censor shit. The matrix is real when you done entered it. It's way too intricate for you to ever realize that you fucking simpleton. I really hate to break it to you, but your life's being played.
how about that?
You have not witnessed the world.
It is what it is. We need
everything we have been taught was all a lie.
laxative, purging old
Yeah, fuck Hollywood, fuck all these reality shows, making us feel lame unless we blowing stacks on new clothes, making us feel like we ain't cool unless we have a few hoes, making us feel like we ugly unless we have a new nose. I see naturally beautiful women get Botox, fake tits, fake lips, they so brainwashed and it doesn't make sense. Focus on your life and the path you pursuing, cause y'all too busy worried about what Kim Kardashian's doing. Check it, most of the shit that you sheep are watching on television is fake as fuck and it's not real. I rebel against it, it's the devil's business, they just reel y'all in. If they say it, we do it, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, the system created the stereotype for the black image. That's why my people are scared to be different. Why don't you get it? I'm done practicing these ridiculous rituals. It's time I become a real individual and just do me.
sharing with them.
I really hate to break it to you, but your life's being played.
My games, your walk might not be mine.
You have not witnessed the world cause you stuck in the maze.
So I'm just going
everything we have been taught was all a lie. Open your eyes, open your mind.
Because working with this law, they can cause continue to change to where it's basically needing for us to get back those laws. So with revolution, I mean, the automatic bloodshed in the history of humanity, you can't have revolution without that. So do you think that revolution, even though it's in the legal means, we also frowned upon, especially for African people, should be accepted as an idea to African people to take back what's ours? So they gonna know today. Do you have any particular messages for younger people who are either unaware or like recently aware? Any suggestions or any special words for, you know, people, let's say 27 and under in the world today?
Educate yourself. Read up on your history. Know where you came from, because you have to know where you came from to understand where you are and where you're going. A lot of young people don't know their history. And they could care less about it. Even some of our young black people are saying, oh, that stuff happened in Texas, just like white people, but it did happen. And we need to love ourselves. Educate yourselves. Educate yourselves. Be in the midst of people in the know. Someone that can point you in the right direction, not just the people that are fun, that are going nowhere but to have fun. That's it.
Okie dokie. Well, on that note, I really appreciate your interview.
Thank you.
You've done wonderfully.
Thank you.
And we're going to say that's a wrap.
Thank you.